Hey guys. This is part 3 of What If Naruto Could Talk to the Nine Tails from the start and was corrupted. Hit like and subscribe if you like this one, and also please check the author in the description. Let's start. Chapter 15. I Don't Know What Love Is. A full week of training passed, leaving the final participants of the Chunin exams with 16 days remaining. Naruto spent the rest of what was his first practicing only the Gale Palm and occasionally the Shuriken Shadow Clone Jutsu. The side of the foliage he practiced on was partially barren as a result. He could even use the Gale Palm without the bird and horse seals. This just occurred to me, Anko began. You've been using your chakra non-stop, and chakra increases with physical and mental stamina. All the jumping, jutsu using, and even that Zen way of thinking are increasing your reserves. She raised a sleeved arm to block the reaction current to a particularly strong Gale Palm that left a visible impact on a tree. I've already told you how most other people in your shoes would have died from chakra exhaustion. What I didn't realize was you have effectively gained a year or several's worth of experience for an average shinobi in a single fucking jutsu. Naruto began bouncing excitement. I really am going to be a powerful ninja, huh? Yes. She laughed and shook her head. But there's more to being a ninja than just ninjutsu. Gotta train taijutsu and learn to break free of jinjutsu if you can't cast it. Learn to fight with your head and your brawn. She hummed. I'm going to be honest with you, most ninjas stop training as hard once they reach Jonin. Some are fine being Chunin and not having to do grunt work ever again. Kakashi and Guy are some of the only guys I know who've kept it up, though Kakashi's gotten rusty. I know Kakashi's good, but I've never seen Bokkut-sensei fight. She looked at what he made of the forest. He can do something like that with his body now if he really wanted to. Holy shit! Yeah. All he has is taijutsu, so he's beyond everyone else in it. Kakashi's his only rival. She smirked. Those two are on the level of a Kage. Really? Naruto asked, remembering his sensei's first battle with Sabuza. Really, I know Kakashi doesn't seem like it, but he's probably the third strongest shinobi in the village. Just needs to get back into top shape. Who's the second? He gaped at her, pointing in Jiraiya's direction. Really? Anko shot him a look. Did you not see him create a swirly death ball of chakra? The man trained the fourth Hokage. She flinched as his expression soured. Still not a fan? Am I really supposed to admire a man who was willing to make a baby into a weapon? She glanced away. Orochimaru told her Minato left a Jinchuriki child behind back when she was under his wing. The Leaf Village had only one Jinchuriki, and she was looking at him. Sarutobi, Kakashi, and Jiraiya were in the know, and they knew she knew because of Orochimaru. What happened to your Zen? I can't ever forgive him for that. He looked down. Maybe I can let go of the thing with Niji, but that yellow dipshit knew full well what he was doing and everything that would happen to me. He smiled at another head pat. I'm alright. It's just. He drifted off at the sight of water in her eyes. Anko-sensei? His face turned pink when she embraced him tightly. Are you okay? I'm sorry. She hid her tears from him, holding her head over his shoulder. Whatever semblance of peace he found would likely be destroyed if he ever heard the truth. Naruto patted her head in turn. But you didn't do anything. I'm sorry. Where do you rank in terms of village shinobi? She chuckled. Top 5, baby. So you're the 5th? Oh, my traitorous little bastard. She wiped her tears, shifted her grip to his shoulders, and glared into his eyes. Yes, but if you ever tell anyone I admitted that, I'll summon a giant snake to eat you. He laughed. I'm pretty sure I could kill that snake easily enough. I already did the same to the first one with just shadow clones. That was a baby. They get even bigger. Hokage rock bigger. Her eyes gleamed ever so maliciously. I still don't want to learn the summoning jutsu if it involved snakes. Look on the bright side. Anko pointed her thumb back in Jiraiya's direction. At least it isn't toads. Toads? Yeah, he summons toads. He frowned. That is so lame, and he's the second? Old man Hokage summons monkeys. Deadly ninja monkeys that can turn into diamond hard staffs. That's... Naruto blinked. You're fucking with me. She laughed. No, I wish I was. It sounds like the perfect thing to bring up in an argument about the summoning jutsu, but that is a real thing. If you ever see him fight or train under him, you'll see it for yourself. I don't want to rely on anyone else's power but my own, so I'm never going to learn the summoning jutsu. What do you call training under someone then? Isn't that getting power from someone else? She smirked. And snakes make really good spies. Toads suck though. Ignore everything Jiraiya will say to defend them. One is showing me the way and the other is someone walking me through, if that makes any sense. And I can just make clones to spy for me. Rolling her eyes, she stepped back. Okay, blue, orange, and yellow. I stole the scroll of seals, and I only got caught after I learned something from it. Naruto bragged. Oh yes, the shadow clone jutsu. A forbidden jutsu everyone and their mother that's worth a damn knows. Hey! She ruffled his hair. There. Her eyes gleamed. Wanna see a real forbidden jutsu? Yeah, actually. Good. She glanced in the direction of the peeping Sannin. Let's go somewhere the old pervert can't see. His face grew pink. Sure. Anko began walking. You're so cute when you forget I made a vow to defend your virtue. My what? Your virginity. Oh, for fuck's sake. Naruto scowled. I'm not a kid anymore, I've killed people. Why can't I have sex? Because I'm 11 years older than you, you're still a kid on the inside, and Kakashi would kill me if I did or let anyone else bang you. She chuckled. Not saying you can't. Just saying it's not good for you. Sex without love is toxic. Isn't sex love? She shot him a look and felt her heart sink at the innocent look on his face. No, not at all. Looking at a nearby clearing, she shook her head. That was another to add to the saddest things she ever heard. The boy stopped in the clearing when she did. Okay, what are you going to show me? Don't panic. Why wow. His eyes widened as she drew a kunai and slit her throat. Anko-sensei. She dropped onto her knees, smiling despite her gushing blood. Then two hands pried open her mouth from the inside. Like a snake shedding its skin, another Anko forced herself out of the bleeding husk. Still got it. She stood up and stretched. Kind of liked my old body better. What? The fuck? Naruto stared at her cast off. That is how Orochimaru survived getting exploded, maybe burned, and cut in half. She picked up her remains, threw them into the air, made several hand seals, and incinerated them with a ball of fire. Goodbye, you sexy bitch. She took her bloody kunai and licked it clean happily. How? Real forbidden jutsu, kid. No, I mean how is that possible? He pointed at the charred cinders of his teacher's former body. A ton of chakra, remolding my body, and creating a new one with what still works while replacing what didn't, like my throat. Gaping, he scoffed. You make it sound so simple. Well. Anko put a hand over her cursed seal. I had help. Can I get a mark like that too? She crouched down and grabbed his face, eyes stealing at his surprised ones. No. You can never get it, understand? I showed you because I knew your secret, so I wanted you to know mine. Looking down, regret rang in her voice. I killed and tortured a lot of people to make it. It's powerful, but it cost me something I can never get back. It's still yours, and you just used it, but I understand. He betrayed everything he believed in and himself back in Wave, even though it was for someone else's sake. Power at a cost wasn't real power or really someone's own. Good. She let go and rose. Don't be like your stupid substitute, sensei. Naruto followed her. You're losing it again. I'm sorry, thank you. She ruffled his hair. Their absence was completely unnoticed by Jiraiya. While they felt somewhat enraged by his lack of responsibility, pointing it out would let him know something incorrigible occurred. Orochimaru didn't attack, so what they did was okay from an irresponsible point of view. The training with Kakashi was going well for Sakura. While he insisted it was going well for Sasuke too, she had her doubts. She broke through into single-hand signs after using her genjutsu more with both hands for several days. It felt like she was leaving him behind, and it made her feel bad rather than good thanks to her own experience in that position. He rarely said a word, too focused on molding his chakra into lightning. You worry too much, Kakashi said with his eye in his book. I know it's hard, but there are some things you have no control over. She tunneled underneath him and sprang up with a kunai aiming for his face. That's exactly why I worry. His hand stopping her by the wrist made her gulp. Please don't. He glanced at her. I thought you'd be used to pain at this point, and know to take comfort in the control you have over yourself. Dislocated joints who? Her eyes widened as he popped her wrist. Fuck. Oh come on, the interrogation jutsu is worse. He set it back in and let go, letting her fall. It's a different but completely more manageable kind of pain. You prefer the sensation of having a seizure over getting your joints dislocated? Yes. Groaning, she massaged her wrist. Kakashi hummed, well, I don't like getting stabbed more than anything else. Nice try, by the way. Can you teach me another jutsu now? Don't get greedy. I know I taught you a lot of genjutsu, but I did that because the basics are especially situational, however useful they may be. A lot of ninja have been trained to resist or see through them too. The interrogation jutsu, for example, useful only on anyone below Jonin and with a weak will. You dislocated my wrist. She pointed at him. I know I can do one-hand seals now, but that hurt. He laughed. Wait for your reserves to increase and then I'll teach you more advanced earth jutsu. Training here is helping you too with that as well. While a very useful element to have jutsu of, earth becomes just as costly as fire and water. I'd argue they're still more useful and deadly though. His eye turned as footsteps that weren't there scuffing the ground echoed about. Sasuke's eyes met his. Kakashi! He held out his arms, brought his fingers together, and showed him sparks. It's time! His eyes turned red, ringed eye marks swirling. Good! He went through the 9 hand seals that were unnecessary for him to use his signature. This is my lightning blade. But for now, you'll only use what it originally was, Chidori. Raising a hand to his forehead protector, he showed his own Sharingan. Then he darted to one of the nearest rock formations, and slammed his chirping lightning hand into it. Sasuke and Sakura stared as the pillar dented, cracked, and fell apart. That's going to kill Gaara. He's likely going to try to kill you. Kakashi returned his forehead protector over his eye before joining the two. It requires great speed and focus only the Sharingan can give for that speed not to create any openings. That's why you're only teaching it to Sasuke, Sakura said. He nodded. And your affinity turned out to be earth, so it'd take more time away from you. Best play to your strengths and cover your weaknesses. Right now, training here is covering both your stamina issues while you polish your strength. I never thought about it much, but you are a great teacher, Kakashi. Sasuke smiled. Save your compliments until after your matches, please. His eye narrowed. Now show me what you saw with your Sharingan. Smile shifting into a smirk, he went through the hand seals and concentrated lightning into the palm of his hand, slowly generating a chirping collection of bolts into a concentrated ball of destruction. Not as good as yours. Practice makes perfect. He whistled as the boy took off. Sakura raised a hand to her chin at the sight of him lightning punching a massive crater into a different pillar. The Sharingan lets you copy jutsu, but not someone's experience or control with it. She felt a bead of sweat run down her forehead when he used it again. That takes a lot of chakra, doesn't it? Yes, and yes. All of that training he's done with Naruto, and whatever stunt he pulled in the forest have given him bigger reserves. How much does Naruto have? She flinched at the sound of more breaking rocks. He created over 100 solid clones back in that classroom. More than me and probably more than Lord Third combined. Sakura nodded in understand. Blinking, she stomped toward Kakashi, drawing his attention, and twitched. What? Naruto probably has more chakra than me and Lord Third combined. He rephrased. Don't be jealous. His chakra control is average at best. How is that possible? Having the being with the biggest reserves of chakra to ever exist sealed inside his body since birth might have been a factor. That or it's just a natural gift as a result of good genetics. His habit of bouncing, pushing his limits, and regularly clashing wills with a creature older than recorded history might also have that effect. Physical and mental stamina create chakra. And Naruto has been pushing himself his entire life. Kakashi nodded at her words and Sasuke managing another, slightly better Chidori. That boy has no talent, but that really doesn't matter when he can keep going as much as it takes. I suspect he failed his grades because he had no interest in them and they weren't relevant to his graduation. The clone jutsu was an impossible task for him because he likely overloaded it with chakra and no one ever figured it out. Couldn't that be called talent? That's where the entire subject of hard work, talent, and potential go down the drain. If you asked me, it's all drivel. You can do something or you can't. You can learn something or you don't want to. All three are ultimately just searches for validation regarding success and failure. I think I understand. Sakura smiled. Hard work, talent, and potential are ideas that hold people back. I smiled back. Exactly. It doesn't matter if you start weak or strong. Are you going to improve or not? So what if your improvement is faster or slower? Are you going to keep going? You're good? You could be better. If you can't do something, focus on what you can do. He patted her on the head. You've gotten here because you wanted to and you could. It's up to you whether or not to feel what you do about it or believe some quality you have was responsible. I feel proud of myself, Kakashi-sensei. That's well and good. He watched his other student make a fourth Chidori, better than the other three and what was apparently his limit. Now I'm going to teach you two better footwork before one of you falls into chakra exhaustion again. Team 7 as a whole advanced bounds and leagues from what they were in their initial state. Their collective drive was a force to be reckoned with. In all likelihood, they were already the strongest squad of their generation. Many of those who witnessed the preliminaries thought as such. Sarutobi was in his office during the night doing his usual leftover paperwork. Soon after the preliminaries ended, Hate Gecko was killed. Orochimaru was the expected culprit. Only the Jonin and Umbu knew. When Kakashi requested Tenzo and Yugao, he had the feeling it was to give the woman comfort for her loss. The door opened and his old friend stepped in again. Hiruzen. Orochimaru, Naruto, or both? He asked. Yes. He'll attack during the Chunin exam finals, and I suspect he will attempt to use the Sand's unstable Jinchuriki if he cannot use our own against the village. His eyes narrowed. I'm afraid his interest in the boy is for more than the Nine Tails. He intends to become a Jinchuriki through his body. And he desires Sasuke Uchiha's Sharingan. It's nice to know your information network isn't as it once was. Sarutobi puffed his pipe. The situation is being handled. Both are under watch. Naruto Uzumaki in particular has shown considerable control over the Nine Tails and himself as of late. I understand your concern, but I'm afraid the foundation for what we will face on that day was set a long time ago. Do not hold back. He tilted his head at his words. I won't. You say you won't, but I know you, and your bleeding heart, Hiruzen. Danzo's eye narrowed. Orochimaru will face you without any hesitation. He is not the boy you once knew. I understand that more than anyone. His expression remained unchanged. That may fool everyone else. Not me. I know, after all these years, you are still superior to him. Lord Tobirama picked you on that day for a reason. Sacrifice your heart, or you may be sacrificed in its stead. Are you actually concerned for me? It is not in the village's interest if you die now. This may be the last time you and I ever speak. He turned. Goodbye, Hiruzen. Goodbye, Danzo. Sarutobi watched his old rival disappear in the dark and hummed. It was the most civil conversation they ever had. The day after, Anko, instead of escorting Naruto to the usual training area, went to fetch someone. She said they'd be able to help her student with taijutsu after his drastic ninjutsu improvement. Jiraiya actually stood guard for once, eyes occasionally glancing at their surroundings. Both felt relief when they saw her walk through the foliage with dango sticks. You're back, why? Naruto stared at the familiar fang-marked cheeks of the Inuzuka clan, specifically their female owner. She glared at the boy. So that's him, huh? Her eyes became slits. Yup. Anko patted her shoulder. I tell you to take it easy on him, but that kid loves a challenge. He raised a hand to rub the back of his head. Hana? Right? I know you might have heard some tea. You beat up my little brother. That's your match opponent's sister? Jiraiya asked, raising a hand to stroke his chin. His eyes glanced over her supple form. Nodding, he smiled. You're right, she's thick. He laughed. Told you. He blinked at the realization she was in hearing distance. Oh, you perverted little cat-whiskered punk. Hana's forehead vein bulged as she stomped forward. I'm pretty sure they're fox whiskers, and to be fair, Kiba was being a little bitch. She made the same sign he did, hunched over, and launched herself into him, sending him several feet back. I will make you my bitch! Afraid I made a promise to defend his virginity at all costs, Hana, Anko said, munching on a stick of dango. You know what I mean! She hopped over to him and pushed him down by his forehead protector. As if I'd let you and your blonde dick near my body! He raised an equally blonde eyebrow. What's wrong with being blonde? Shut up! She stomped to scoff at him, rolling out. Shifting on her heel, she spun to kick her other leg into his rising self for him to catch it, albeit still hurting him through her more developed physique. "You're good!" Naruto's eyes looked from her toned legs to the back of her form-fitting shorts. "And it looks like I was right." He kicked at her other leg only to brush air as she used it to jump and kick him in the stomach, freeing herself into the air and landing on her feet. Hana's nose twitched. "Don't admire me too much, or I might end up actually killing you. Woman, you are beautiful. I can't help it." He started bouncing on his feet. "But I can't hold back if I want to improve. Please." She dropped on to her all fours. "Okay," Anko said. "Maybe it's TI." Her eyes widened at the Inuzuka preparing their clan's signature taijutsu technique only to get punched out of its preparation movements by the boy. Naruto frowned. "You might be faster than Kiba, but that won't work on me." He stopped bouncing and shook his head. "Once someone really knows your style and techniques, you're not going to win." He pointed at the woman rising and wiping blood emerging from her nose. "Inuzuka or Hyuga, you're both one-trick ponies. It's not your clan that's fighting here, it's just you and me. Understand?" She laughed. "Yeah. I think I was wrong about you." "Does?" He blushed as his eyes fixed themselves on her cleavage. "Can we maybe hang out sometime?" "Don't push it." Hana launched herself again, rooted herself before he could punish her with an elbow aimed at her face, and slammed her fist into his gut. He stepped back, clutching his stomach. "Okay, that was good." He fell onto a knee. "You learn, unlike Kiba." Raising his hands, he caught a kick aiming for his face. Twisting and dropping his entire body dragged her down with him. She began pushing herself up when she felt the boy coil his arm under her chin, hooking it with his elbow, and his legs over her torso. Pervert. Moves limited, her fingernails dug into his arm. She rolled to use the ground against him, but his superhuman endurance was unknown to her. "Please!" Naruto held on even after she fell limp, well aware she was faking for the first 3 seconds. Anko blinked at the sight of her brat crawling out from underneath his opponent. Did he just win?" She scoffed. "Hana, you're almost a fucking jonin. Get that plump ass of yours up." Eyes widening, she ran over. "You've gotta be kidding me." The boy raised an innocent eyebrow. "Was I supposed to lose? I didn't expect you to win." She crouched, rolled the other woman over, and gave her gentle slaps to the face until her eyes regained focus. "Hey, you lost." "How?" Anko laughed. "So, I might have underestimated my favorite little tyke." Standing up, she rubbed the back of her head. "Now that I think about it, him pushing in your brother's shit while holding his guts in might have been a hint he was way stronger. He only got one hit, he had his puppy transformed into him, and they were both doped," Naruto informed. Hana gaped at him. "Only one hit? I could barely even stand after jumping from the balcony. That whole dog tackle thing you've got hurts, but it gives your opponent distance, the opposite of what you want in a taijutsu fight. You're..." She looked to Anko and scoffed. "He doesn't know, does he? Their squad leader is Kakashi. No way in hell would he ever tell them." Naruto raised an eyebrow. "Tell us what?" He blushed as Anko pet him on the head. "Anything that would encourage you to be content with your abilities." "I am still confused." "It's not our place to say." Hana shook her head. "I can't believe I lost to you." He looked at the bleeding scratches on his arm. "Look on the bright side, you did better than Kiba." Standing up, he started stretching. "Thanks. I really needed that after a week of just using ninjutsu." He yawned. "I really miss Sasuke and that stupid Sharingan of his." "What stage is his eyes?" "Second." "How well do you do against him?" Naruto scowled. "Not very. I've been doing better ever since I picked up attacking whenever he blinks, but it's still not enough. We've only ever used taijutsu against each other, so I'm not sure if we can match with ninjutsu, especially now." "Attacking when he blinks?" Hana's tone was doubtful. "Yeah, I know it's weird and desperate. The minuscule second of a blink you attack? That's what I said." He looked off into nowhere. "I guess that's a big deal, but I never really thought of it. Still not enough to win against him." Anko giggled at Hana's twitching eyes. "Isn't he just adorable?" Putting a hand to her chest, she held out her other arm. "He yearns for the loving, swirly eyes of his schoolboy crush." "We're not like that." Naruto blushed a furious red. "Ah, it's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. He shot her a look. Girls don't like the idea of being with those kind of guys. They just like seeing them together. His hand reached out to grope the Inuzuka, but she slapped it away. I only like girls. But you try so hard it seems like you're overcompensating. Nuh. She cooed. Your denial is just confirmation. Why can't two guys be allowed to care for each other without someone thinking they're gay? Naruto pointed at them. Don't girls have friends? No. They answered in unison. What? Hana rolled her eyes. We compete with each other over everything, but you wouldn't realize it. Boys, clothes, and status. You guys stay together out of necessity. We girls stay together to keep tabs on the competition. Enko raised a hand to her chin. The closest things to friends we have are girls we don't feel threatened by and boys who are hoping for more or somehow incapable of finding interest. I am so confused right now. Of course you're a guy. Me and Hana here are what you call tombas. Girls hate us and boys love us. Sometimes too much. Hana scoffed. Naruto tilted his head. I don't understand that either. We're masculine in a way men find admirable and women find threatening. It's like aggression. Women like it men and so do men, but too much is a disruptive thing. Yup. Enko hummed. An overly aggressive woman is a bitch, and an overly aggressive man is an asshole. We've got a golden ratio. She laughed. I'll admit I used to be a bitch though, and you were an asshole before you went all zen. I guess I can understand a bit. He raised an eyebrow. How are you threatening? Hana laughed. The way we can interact with men and behave in general makes other women feel inadequate. Penis envy's a bitch, and the competition for top dick is eternal. Enko nodded. Huh, women are weird. Yeah. She held him close. We don't want you to think that, so we pretend like we're not. She pinched his whiskered cheeks. Girls love attention and perverts like you. His blushing face scrunched in confusion again. I thought they hated me. Please. Hana smiled. Everyone knows you're all too for girls, right? Just don't act interested in one or be dismissive towards them, and watch. You were complaining about it earlier. Because you beat up my brother. Had he lost to you and you were some limp effeminate douchebag, I'd beat you both up. If there's anything women hate the most about a man, it's when he's not a man. Understand? Enko cooed. My little punk hasn't realized that's why the Hyuga girl wants him. Naruto stepped out of her grasp. Okay, what the hell is up with everyone thinking I'm a thing with her? He threw up his hands. Just because I jumped in to stop Niji doesn't mean I want her, and her shouting when I did doesn't mean she wants me. You are so oblivious it's painful. Her eyes were warm. How do you feel about her? Hinata is... He blinked. I mean, I haven't really thought about her much at all, but I guess she wasn't that bad back at the academy. He smiled. I was impressed when the exams started, and she told me she wanted to fight me to the fullest. Enko nodded in agreement at Hana's this fucking idiot look. What do you think she really meant by that? Exactly what she said? He scowled as the two women shared a look. I'm not a fucking mind reader. This is how healthy relationships never begin. One idiot thinks they can get with the other by not saying anything and the other idiot isn't interested enough to notice. Hana sighed. Enko laughed. Don't be too hard on him. She frowned at the boy. He's never known or realized what honest love from a girl, much less another person, is. Naruto parted his lips to protest but couldn't find the words. Iruka cared about him from a distance, Tucci was concerned, Ayam was the same, his team was close yet felt distant, and the Hokage was a mess of a relationship complicated by politics. The woman safeguarding him was the person he felt the closest to yet still wasn't sure about in any meaningful way. Hey! She drifted off as the boy started shaking at the realization. Walking over, she pulled him close. It's okay. The sight of tears springing from his eyes hurt her. There's nothing wrong with you. Orochimaru told her the same so long ago when he meant everything to her. There was still too much both had to work through. A single month's worth of time wouldn't nearly be enough to solve a lifetime's worth of issues. Even if so, the memory would linger. Such were the woes of life. Chapter 16. The Proof I Am Something. Yet another week of training passed by. Hana came over again, much to Jiraiya and Naruto's delight, on a few days to spar with the child. It was to refine her own technique, which also kept his from rusting. On that particular day, she was present. Did I mention you heal unnaturally fast? Hana, scuffed up, asked. An equally disheveled Naruto nodded, made the snake sign, clapped his hands, and palmed forward a gust of wind that blew out what little support a tree he was using for target practice had left. He laughed as it timbered over. Once or twice. Looking over to Anko, he smiled. I think I'm ready for a new jutsu. No shit. Just not sure what to pick that isn't redundant or overkill. The explosive shadow clone, she scoffed. With your chakra reserves even bigger than when I first told you no. I agree. Jiraiya, who was observing Hana more than their charge, gave him a worried look from a decent enough distance away. You could damage the village, kill some villagers, or kill yourself with that. Oh, who gives a fuck about the villagers? He brought his fingers together and made another hymn. I think I already figured it out. Is that? No. The clone made of a clone of itself. Jiraiya shook his head. You need to let go of your hatred. Not letting yourself feel anger is one thing, but you'll be fighting it forever if you never really let go. I don't know. Naruto frowned. A clone scoffed. What a joke. Its eyes bore into the real ones, ignoring the stares from the actual people, before cloning itself. What? Everyone in the village despises us. It continued the chain and ganged up on him with the others. They've been lying to us and looking down on us since we were kids, the most recent said, making another as it did. Treating us like trash. How could you let go of that? It made one more that frowned with the rest in unison. It was always so hard and so painful. It stepped forward and put a hand over its heart. We're the only ones who will ever understand you. It smiled even as he stepped back shivering. Love you! Naruto stomped forward and punched it in the face to get blasted back. His clones disappeared thanks to the force of the explosion too. It wasn't enough to kill anyone, being an extremely divided amount of his chakra, but the explosion burned the skin off his hand and scorched his front, ruining his outfit. This is why I didn't want to teach you it. Anko ran over and picked his unsteady, earringing self up. She met Jiraiya's worried look with one of her own. Let's get him to the hospital. Hana stared at the two taking off with the wounded third. She knew from the rumors he was hiding issues, but that was something else entirely. As a medic, she figured he would all right, especially at the rate he healed. His wounds would leave him open for infection, so temporary hospitalization was a given even if he'd hate it. Shrugging, she kept on about her day, ignoring the confused looks given by the women the next waterfall over checking what the racket was. The flooded sewer-like system of Naruto's subconscious was becoming an increasingly familiar place to him. I really don't get it. He lay in the water again. Love, or what the hell I'm doing. Not feeling anger but still feeling hate. It's hard looking on the bright side of things, and it's still not enough. Are you asking me for an answer? I thought you didn't want to rely on anyone else. He shrugged. I don't know. His mind drifted back to the day he and the rest of Team 7 returned from Wave. To be loved, I have to be strong. To be strong, I have to not want to be loved. It scoffed. This world is cruel. I always knew that. I wanted everyone else to know it too, get my revenge by making them all regret ever looking down on me. But does that change anything? If I had it my way, they'd be dead. And then what? He looked up to the beast. They'd just seal you away again, over and over again for what? It's so pointless, but I really don't know. Is that all you can say? Until either of us finds an answer, yeah? I feel like I'm splitting myself after two different things, and they're both meaningless shit. I'm not sure what to feel or what to do. Then choose what feels best. I really like being around Anko-sensei and everyone else. He frowned. Don't like it when they worry about me, keep secrets, and go behind my back though. I hate the villagers and Niji. Shifting into a smile, he laughed. It'd feel really good for them to suffer, but I'm not sure what comes after. The Nine-Tails I glared down at him. Do you truly think things will change if you don't take your revenge? It laughed. As much as you keep from them, do you really think it's anything close to how much they keep from you? Probably not. I guess I'll see when the finals come up. Everything will be decided there, what I want, my feud with that douchebag, and whether or not I'll be stuck doing fucking D-rank chores until the next Chunin exams. His brow furrowed. You'll be facing that other Jinchuriki, the one-tailed runt. If that Uchiha brat you care for so much doesn't beat him, I expect you to win. Its tails thrashed against the cage. I am not losing, physically or sealed, to that worthless Tanuki. He blinked. The one tail is a what now? Its red eyes gleamed with malice. If that red-haired brat is as unhinged as I think he is, you'll know it when you see it. Feel free to call on me because we're likely to both die if you're too weak to take him down yourself. What happens if I do beat him without your help? Then you'd be on the level of the weakest-tailed beast. It's not that much of a feat, not to you. He grinned. If I do that, I'd be a candidate for the next Hokage or make Jonin. He shook with excitement. Oh man! I can just imagine the look on all their faces. Dead last demon brat in charge with the power to level the village if he wants. Man, I'd love that. You're better off killing them all, but I suppose there's no swaying you away from petty revenge over true vengeance. I'm having my cake and eating it too, big guy. He smiled and laughed. This is gonna be awesome. What started uneasy on top of unsure became all too cheerful. The Nine-Tails regretted being in the cage as its jailer went on a gleeful rant about petty vengeance. Talk about the head pats he loved so much made it hate the boy more. It tried very hard to stop its ability to listen when he came to women, specifically the snake woman drowning him in affection as of late. For a second things were looking dark and gloomy, just as he liked it, for the child. A crisp, sterile hospital room's ceiling greeted the boy when he woke up. There was no one else in the bed. It felt hollow given how normal Anko's comforting presence was to him now. He really didn't want to go back to the nights he spent alone ever again. Finally awake, huh? A lazy voice to his left asked. Naruto glanced at Shikamaru sitting at his side and raised an eyebrow. What are you doing here? I was going to ask you the same thing. Can you tell me where Jiraiya and Anko-sensei are? His eyes squinted. The Sannin Jiraiya and the crazy proctor? Did I? Naruto drifted off. Yeah. I thought I saw the troublesome woman walk out, but I can't say for sure. Did you hit your head or something? He lifted his upper body up and tugged down the blanket to see himself in just shorts and bandages. I got exploded. Groaning, he fell back onto his bed. Sakura's gonna lecture me so hard about taking care of my clothes. Shikamaru hummed. You seem a lot different. I'm dealing with a lot of things right now, man. Thinking about that fight with Niji? He grimaced. During training, it's all Ino talks about. She thinks you're actually cool now for getting between him and Hinata. Troublesome. Naruto rolled his eyes. I just wanted to beat the shit out of him. Every time I tell her that she insists it was romantic and that I, a lazy women-hating loser, wouldn't understand. I've heard Hinata has a thing for me and that I'm an idiot for not noticing. But I never really thought about her. I don't even know what it's like to love another person. He stared at the ceiling. What do people expect me to do? He shrugged and raised an eyebrow at his old detention's buddy's bewildered expression. What? Shikamaru tilted his head. I never thought I'd hear you say anything like that ever. And then I have fuckers like you looking at me like there's something wrong when I'm trying to do something other than be angry all the time. Naruto scoffed. It's just weird, okay? You were the guy everyone was wary of and thought was a loser, then you jumped out a window, killed Mizuki, who was apparently a traitor the entire time, actually got along with Sasuke, saw right through the first test, swarmed the forest of death with solid clones when you couldn't make fakes, got into whatever classified mess that mummified you, dominated the preliminaries with your entire team. Apparently smacked the ass of the Sand team all by yourself, and still messed up from everything. That happened before, you actually beat back a prodigy of the Hyuga clan. He grinned. I'm awesome, right? The things you do are insane, and we have no idea how to react to them. Cut us a break. He shook his pineapple-haired head. So troublesome. I'll cut you slack if I start getting some respect around here. Chances of that happening are slim, so I'll have ram it down your throats. I expect to be acknowledged and appreciated. Naruto chuckled. Now you're just being a dick. Happy but still a dick. Isn't it great? Shikamaru tilted his head from side to side. Guess it's better than how you used to be. You still never told me why you're here. Choji, sound guy really fuck him up that bad? He scoffed. He ate so much meat after his fight that he injured his stomach. Fucking Choji. Holding on to his bandaged sides, Naruto laughed. I swear, that fat ass is dumber than you all thought I was. Stopped by your room when I heard because I thought you'd heal by now. Turns out you just got into another incident that turned you into a mummy. Lucky you're not crippled. Speaking of cripples, how's bushy brows? Shikamaru shot him a look and shrugged. I haven't checked, dick. He slipped out of his bed. Guess I'll go find him myself. He frowned. For the longest time, I thought he was looking down on me, but he really thought I had something. Blinking, he raised a bandaged hand to his chin. But he did call me a future-spirited thug one time. Could you blame him? Well, he wasn't wrong. Naruto started walking. Wanna come for old time's sake? Troublesome. He followed after the mummy boy. They walked around, utterly lost, for a bit. Some of the staff they asked for directions pointed to the welcome desk, but they mentioned hearing about Lee's case from time to time. Apparently, he was likely to never be a ninja again. Both, the rude one especially, felt terrible when they heard. I was just joking. Shikamaru rolled his eyes. I heard you the first 6 times. He resumed staring at the unfamiliar sight of worry in his detention buddies. They have medical ninjutsu. I'm sure there's someone that can take care of it, especially with a Jonin-like guy and the Leaf's resources. And if not, bushy brows, dreams, and reason for living die. That's... He hummed. The room's coming up. Naruto nodded at the number. I know. They entered and saw a familiar red head looming over a bedridden Lee, sand crawling over him. Shikamaru made the hand seal common to his clan's technique. When their shadow connected, he smirked. Not so fast. A shiver ran down his spine as his detention buddy stomped forward. Your attacks on him affect me. Stay. He glanced back at him, eyes turning red. Out of this! Focusing back on the sand ninja, he scoffed. Really? If you thought I was petty, what he has in him is far worse. Gaara glared at him. I am not as weak as you are to let a crying girl stop me from proving my existence. What the fuck are you talking about? My father, the Kazekage, sacrificed my mother to make me a weapon and spoiled me. He closed his eyes. I thought that was love. Opening them, he grinned. Until he started sending assassins to kill me since I turned 6. What? Don't tell me you don't understand. Uncontrollable power brings fear, so the villagers despised me. I was not an ideal weapon, even though I was the village's trump card. When I turned 6, I suppose he realized I was defective. Your own father. Naruto drifted off, interactions with the closest thing he had to a parent springing into his mind. The crazed look in his eyes only grew. To him and the villagers, I was just a burden. I used to ask myself why I exist, yearning for something to live for. Then I found out, to fight for myself, loving only myself, and killing everyone else. He began shaking. The young man was almost exactly like his screaming subconscious mind that lashed out at him. In all likelihood, that would be him if he didn't make genin after Mizuki. He would have clung to the relief of the killing to ignore the pain he'd feel. Maybe even if Kakashi didn't approach him after the Wave Massacre. The psychotic, murder-loving wretch in front of him was what he'd become if he let his pain drive him away from everyone else. Naruto! Shikamaru called out. I don't know if I can hold him for much longer. Let me speak through you. I can do that? Huh! Just let my words and thoughts flow through you. No need to resist. I won't take control beyond what's necessary or force my chakra. Naruto? It glanced back at him, its vessel's features fully taking on his influence. Quiet, Nat. Focusing on a surprised Gaara, it squatted down and held the boy's patched face up with his hands. Little baby One-Tail. It snickered. So worthless and weak it told the vermin its name so it could be said with respect. You bastard! The redhead's expression became somehow more unhinged. I knew it was you. It's always you. Shikamaru glanced from the demon fox-faced boy to the crazed one. I am so lost right now. Shut up! They yelled in unison. I just came out to let you know something I find absolutely hilarious. It pointed one of Naruto's thumb at itself. This brat has almost as much chakra as you. The One-Tail growled. This time, I'm going to win. Mine is stronger. Chakra is meaningless. Which one of us has the most chakra again? Oh right. I do, and I remember telling all of you that made me the strongest. What did you do again? It was a fluke. I had 4 of you near death and the other 4 spent. It scoffed. That was ages ago. Please, even if you manifest, the brat will win. It grinned and laughed. And he won't use a single sliver of my chakra to do it. Cool. Naruto's body launched into Gaara's and nearly sent him through the wall. Never. It looked to Lee and to a frozen Shikamaru, who survived by virtue of his jutsu expiring not long into the argument. Not in front of the maggots. It flipped back, stood, and stretched as the other one vanished in a flash of sand. I miss being corporeal. The Ninetales turned to the only other conscious being in the room. Yes, Worm? Naruto? Red eyes gave way to blue. He glanced at the crater in the wall. So, you might have a few questions. He laughed at the "of course I fucking do" look on Shikamaru's face. Do you remember my birthday? Octo. His eyes widened. Fuck. Oh yeah? Naruto patted his shoulder. His lips parted to say something but faltered at the realization of what he just witnessed. Two-tailed beasts spoke through each other's vessels. They told him to shut up. Lee somehow slept through the entire thing. Other than the Nara clan joining the founding of the Leaf Village, it was probably the biggest thing any member was ever involved in, say the Ninja World War. He turned to walk out the door. I'm going to go find my bodyguard teacher leash handlers. He gave a small wave before he left. Good luck with your mental breakdown or whatever. If you tell anyone, I'll probably have to kill you. Hope we can still be comrades? Shrugging, he kept on walking. He let his expression sour when he was a safe distance away. That brat isn't like you. He didn't hesitate to let Shikaku speak at all. Only time I'll ever let you speak, understand? Naruto flinched at the looks he got from the staff. You should worry more about the thoughts you bottle in your head. They literally exploded in your face. All that forced, fake happy nonsense is getting to you. I don't want to be miserable or like Gaara. Focusing on happiness will cause you more misery. You are already like him, self-centered and yearning for validation of your existence. I know. Making his way back to what was supposed to be his room, the white color of the hospital reminded him of someone. He looked to a passing nurse. Do you know where I can find Hinata Hyuga? She froze. Hyuga? Turning to see him, her eyes widened for a second. I believe she left a few days ago. Nice. He kept on his way. Good, she's back up. Hoping for a companion? Naruto grimaced. Not you too. Don't mistake me for one of those fools. I know the only women you have eyes on are older than you. I still don't understand what the big deal is. Neither do I, but I am an immortal being that does not understand difference in human ages as you do. There are little worthless gnats, growing worthless gnats, normal worthless gnats, and decrepit worthless gnats. You are all equally worthless, but I suppose being capable of speech is a significant milestone for your kind. What exactly are you? If you're different creatures, how are you related to each other? Why would I ever tell you? Do you have anything better to do? Naruto blinked as the voice went back to silence. He would have killed someone to make him shut up when he was younger. Now, it just felt like something was missing when he didn't say anything. The moment Enko saw him from the waiting seat outside of his latest hospital room, she body flickered over. Where were you? She grabbed him by the face. Why did your clones go all creepy? She shook him. Why did you punch your fucking explosive clone? Stop. He stepped back and shook his head properly to reset himself. I think I've been pushing down things than dealing with them, and what you said about love really got to me. There is nothing wrong with you, but punching a fucking exploding clone is probably one of the stupidest things I have ever seen in my entire life. He raised his recovering hand to rub the back of his head. I wasn't thinking. No shit. She pulled him back in for a hug. You still haven't told me where you were. I was trying to see if Hinata was still here, but she checked out days ago. Enko raised an eyebrow at the half-lie before wiggling them both. Oh, I see. Please stop. It's okay. What were you going to say to her? Her eyes narrowed. You weren't going to ask her why she liked you, right? Don't be that idiot. How the hell is this supposed to work when I don't share the same feelings? It doesn't. You say no to her if she ever manages to get it out, and you go your separate ways. Gentle or hard, it will haunt her forever. Naruto tilted his head. That kind of sounds like you're telling me to feel the same. I'm not. She pet him. The two of you are a classic case of unrequited love. Tragic but beautiful. I only hope she doesn't go crazy and try to rape you. Hinata would never do that. He blushed. How well do you really know her? Not well. Then don't write out having a Hyuga girl on the prowl for your dick. Enko patted his shoulder. No worries. I'm here to make sure you get to that match as pure as you were when you first came into the hospital. I'm going to tell Kakashi we've been sleeping in the same bed together every night since he left me in your care. Naruto smirked. She gulped. Please don't. I don't know. It seems like the kind of thing he'd want to hear about and should. He, other than the old man, is the closest thing I have to a father. You've made your point. I'll lay off about the girl, just as soon as you tell me what you were going to talk about with her. Just talk. He shrugged. Last time I saw her, she was coughing blood from her lungs, and I fucked up her fight with Niji. I know that sick guy already called it. I'm talking about what they were really fighting about. If people can change? Naruto nodded. She's changed, and I'm not sure if I really have. What do you call going from a rabid punk to a punk looking for inner peace? An identity crisis? Well, yeah, but it's a sign something's going on with you. Anko ruffled his hair. You have changed. It's your decision to stay that way or not. Her eyes narrowed. Now tell me how the hell you did the explosive shadow clone jutsu. It was pretty easy. I mean, the hand sign is the same as the normal shadow clone jutsu. All I had to do was focus on making a clone that wouldn't give any chakra back to me. It's what creates the explosion, right? You figured that out on your own? How else would you make a clone explode? Naruto tried peeking into the inside of her coat. That's not lined with paper bombs, is it? She scoffed. When I say I want to go out with a bang, that's not what I mean. You figured out a jutsu by looking at it once. It's just the shadow clone jutsu, the first thing I ever learned and always use. Weird I didn't figure it out sooner. Would have saved me a lot of trouble with giant snakes, ninjas above our rank, and my first mission. Not sure to be proud or terrified of you, kid. But we need to get you some new, fashionable clothes. Anko looked his bandaged body up and down before leading him away. He groaned. Sakura's going to kill me. He raised an eyebrow. Where's Pervy Sage? Scouting, really peeping outside. I'll tell him where to meet us. She created a shadow clone, which immediately darted off. They left in the pursuit of fashion and were joined by the old man, still responsible and concerned enough to go with them. Sooner rather than later it was the day of the finals at last. They spent most of the time after the explosion incident lazing about as he recovered from his self-injury. Jiraiya saw no more reason to guard him with the massive influx of people and ninja coming in. Anko said she'd stick around but out of sight still in case of Orochimaru. Their charge, feeling anxious, went to the chilly practice field. While he was humiliated there, it was where Kakashi taught him what it meant to be a ninja and where he faced his first real challenge as one. A figure he did not expect to see waited by the posts. Hinata? He called out. She turned and blinked at him in a new vest and shirt over fishnet long sleeves. And Naruto. Her eyes drifted to his bandaged hand. You're still injured. No, this is from something else. You're the one still recovering. He looked to the wraps on her arms. I saw you attack Niji. He raised a hand to rub the back of his head. Sorry, I ruined your fight. I of all people should have known to stay out of it, but... He sighed. I have no excuses. You saw he was going to kill me. She murmured in realization at him lowering his hand to his heart. I wasn't thinking. What are you doing here? Naruto shrugged. Hell if I know. I've been waiting for this day for years, but I'm getting cold feet at the last moment. Why? Her voice was soft and innocent. To be honest with you, I feel completely worthless. He raised a hand to tap his fingers against his forehead protector. Ever since I was a kid, I felt like a worthless loser who'd never amount to anything or have anyone, but this made me happy because it made me feel like I was something. Looking down, he frowned. I acted out, hurt people, and talked a lot of shit to make me feel better about myself, but I was never happy because no one appreciated who I was. He laughed, bitterness creeping in. The me you saw on graduation day and during the first test is who I really am, someone who's terrified of failing to be anything when failing at that, and everything else is all I'm used to. His eyes looked up to her wide blank ones. That's the me in front of you right now. I'm scared, win or lose against Niji, I'm going to fail myself, and I don't know what to do. Every time you fail, you pick yourself up, right? That's the only thing I can do. Hinata smiled. Then you'll be fine. You've always been strong. When everyone else doubted you, you've always believed in yourself. Only you know how much you're really worth, and I know, if that's what you really thought, you would have never made it this far. Her eyes were warm in spite of their blank appearance. Don't look down on yourself for failing. Be proud of what you've overcome. Getting back up after failure is what true strength is. You. A strange warm feeling emerged from his chest and washed over the rest of his body. Smiling, he chuckled. You're right. I'm being an idiot. He tilted his head as he lifted his bandaged hand. When I think about it, you've been around a lot when I was hurt or feeling down to patch me up and make me feel better. He paid her blushing face no mind. I used to think you were pathetic. He grinned at her, deflating. But I actually really like you. Do you mind if I kill Niji? She blinked. What? If Niji dies, would it bother you? His lips thinned against each other. There's a chance I might get carried away during the fight, or just kill him for the hell of it. Please don't. Her hand held her other by her chin in pleading. Naruto raised an eyebrow. Why not? She looked down. I know it is easy to despise him, but Niji feels as worthless as you thought you were deep down. Her gaze met his. If you want him to suffer, letting him live with the defeat is a bigger punishment than death. Wow. I never knew you were so ruthless, Hinata. That's not. She drifted off at the admiration in his eyes. Naruto turned to the direction of the arena and started walking. Make sure to watch my match. He kept smiling, though he wondered why he confessed such a thing to her of all people. A realization made the warmth he felt even greater. Out of everyone in his past, she was the only one who never looked at him negatively or said anything to hurt him. It made his heart beat faster, and he couldn't stop it. Enko said from a branch above where they were. She waved at the blushing girl still below. And here I thought there was no chance between you two. You're. Her Byakugan activated out of sheer anger. She should have known the moment she saw the fishnets. It was a mark of ownership, like a dog pissing on a tree. She raised an eyebrow. What? She blinked and grinned. Oh yeah. I've been taking care of him while his sensei was busy. Licking her lips, she narrowed her eyes. That boy is so sweet, don't you think? Hinata's veiny eyes twitched. You dirty bitch. I knew you were hiding something. She laughed. Tell me, how long do you think you can wait? Might seem like he's interested now, but life goes on. The cute brat has a type, and you're not quite it. She looked her up and down. Maybe in a few years, still far too long. If you don't do anything, you'll lose him forever. She relaxed. I was just about to tell him. Enko scoffed. You let him walk away. You're a kunoichi now. Your wants and needs are your responsibility. I know. I'll tell him the next time I see him. You better, or it might really be me who steals your precious Naruto away from you. She laughed at the girl, shivering in anger. See you in the stadium. She flickered away. That day would haunt everyone for the rest of their lives. Chapter 17, remember? Forfeit? The Chunin exams arena was a wide, open circular area with spectator seats at the top of the walls. Like the preliminary arena, the battleground was flat. Some foliage was in the outskirts, but it was barren, perfect for an even fight. It was ironic how straightforward their combat encounters were in comparison to what an actual ninja battle was like. 8 of the 10 contestants stood behind a jonin in the center. Hey! The jonin glanced back at an eye-wandering Naruto. He raised an eyebrow for a moment at his weirdly familiar appearance. Face the customers. He focused on the crowd himself. You're one of the stars. Sarutobi and the 4th Kazekage, really Orochimaru in disguise, sat on throne-like seats in the center balcony to their front. They exchanged greetings beforehand. It was odd but not unusual for both to be dressed in full regalia. Orochimaru wore a mask in case his old sensei was aware of the actual Kazekage's micro-expressions. The old man welcomed the guests and announced the beginning of the final stage of the Chunin exams. Kiba, in his civvies, pointed out some empty seats in one of the balconies. These are free! Nodding, Hinata took the space next to 2 Chunin before her teammate took the one at her side. I hope Naruto does well. She glanced at her scowling comrade. Do you feel sore? He groaned. I told you that bastard's hanging out with my sister. Even after I told her everything he said, she just brings up how I lost against him. You failed as the man of your house. A woman's voice behind them said. Sure, he said a lot of crazy shit, but it's not like you could do anything about it, loser. Enko. The bandana-wearing Chunin greeted without turning to look. His nose-bandaged partner turned his head to see her munching on one of the dango sticks she held between all her fingers. Be easy on the kid. Oh, my favorite dumbass duo! Still being pussies while not getting any, I see. Kiba turned to glare at the woman in fishnets. I thought I smelled you. He raised an eyebrow as he sniffed. Why do you smell like Naruto? Akamaru's shivering made him glance at a Hinata with murder in her eyes. Relax, Hyuga. She munched on another dumpling. The show's about to start. They focused on the group below. The jonin on the arena floor turned to the contestants. My name is Gunma Shiranui, and I'll be your proctor for this exam. Sasuke and Sakura aren't here yet, Naruto said, making the man shift his toothpick. If they don't appear in time for their match, they'll be disqualified. He focused on the rest. The arena is different, but the rules are the same. There are none. You fight until one of you can't, and I can rule when it's over. Got it? As a group, the present contestants nodded. Then we start with the first match. Naruto Uzumaki and Neji Hyuga SD. Gunma clucked his tongue at the two's almost physical animosity. Wait until the others clear out. Gaara looked almost jealous on his way to the waiting balcony. Shikamaru was trying to hide himself by the ever-stoic Shino, hoping his complete non-existent presence rubbed off on him. Temari and Kankuro were anxious for an unrelated reason. Dosu, disinterested in the entire affair, walked along nonchalantly. I know he hit Neji and beat me, but is he really that good? Kiba asked. From a separate balcony, Ino, sitting beside Choji, pumped her fist into the air. You can do it, Naruto! Do it for Hinata! Just watch. Anko giggled with malice. Kakashi left him in my care and to train, so that's what I did. Oh no, Kotetsu said. Izumo's face scrunched with worry. What did you teach him? Like I said, just watch. Hayashi Hyuga, leader of the Hyuga clan, sat beside his other, smaller daughter on another balcony. There is no other member of our clan with such strength. Watch closely, Hanabi. Yes, father. Aisu. His blank eyes widened as their representative dropped low and activated his Byakugan. He's... Tenten gaped from her own seat. Opening with that? Genma waited for the other to get into a subdued, jumpy stance of his own out of fairness. Begin! He jumped out of the way immediately, feeling something was coming. Neji spun on his bandaged leg. Tupa! His eyes and many others widened at what should have been impossible, his wrists in his old foe's hands. Naruto slammed his metal-protected forehead into his nose, let go, and took advantage of his sheer shock to uppercut his chin, sending the Hyuga into the air. He knew he'd rise the moment his back hit the ground, so he sprinted after him and jumped. While Neji kicked himself up, he palmed his face midair before slamming his weight down on his head, the hard ground adding to the impact. He bent his face-palming arm, letting his weight rest for a second on him, to launch himself away into a safe range. The entire arena was quiet enough for them to hear the toothpick fall from Genma's mouth. It wasn't enough to satisfy him, but it was a start. If he wasn't choking down years' worth of anger, he'd growl at the sight of his old enemy rising. I meant to take you down! His voice, which could be heard by everyone in their shock-induced silence, was shaking, frustrated, gleeful, and regretful at once. In the first series of blows. Those words were meant for just him, yet their meaning wasn't completely lost on their audience. Well, I wish I could say I taught him that. Anko tore a dumpling free of her skewer to munch away. Neji saw flashes of darting orange and barely blocked a jab to his face. He moved his other arm to block one to his gut. Succeeding, he tried to counterattack, but the onslaught of fast punches kept him from gaining momentum. The blows he sustained had him off balance and unnerved. Someone was actually pushing him back. If it were anyone else, he'd be handling it far better. Lee. Tenten stared at the boy in orange's footwork. It was clumsy back when she knew him as a boy. What she saw in the preliminaries was passable, albeit inefficient, but he was nearly half dead at the time. His bounces were now short steps over childlike hops. There was no over or underextension. Despite seeming more stamina extensive than her comrades, it gave more control over his movements, and added more force from his legs into his blows than his previous style. Snap out of it, Neji! She circled her lips with her hands. You're going to lose if you don't stop him. His brow furrowed. Her words were the truth. He was losing. And he absolutely refused to lose to Naruto of all people. Extending his pointer fingers, he brought his arms back to thrust in the small window of time between the jabs. It was almost child's play for Naruto, who easily predicted what his next moves would be. The gentle fist was effective but all too basic. He extended his middle fingers and caught his hands, seeking to slow him down by disabling his lungs, bringing their fingers together. Twisting their wrists, he formed the Shadow Clone Jutsu sign, creating several dozens of clones. What? Niji didn't have time to contemplate what just happened as the Narutos pulled him off and began punching to one another like they were passing him around. I honestly didn't think that'd work. The real one scoffed. It was all too easy to end the fight at that point, but it would be boring to so soon. Your taijutsu is one-trick pony trash, your Byakugan is trash, and your lack of any original technique from yourself means you're just as trash. Then the Hyuga spun, creating a protective and damaging spiral of chakra that poofed the clones around him. You wretch! He learned that from mere observation, Hayashi said, eyes staring wide at the pride of their clan proving himself while being trampled. Naruto bounced stepped back as Niji spun out. I've already seen something like that. Raising an eyebrow at the technique, he released his other shadow clones, made a single one, and drew a shuriken when he stopped. Oh no. Anko's free hand cleaned dumpling skewers to her side, covered her mouth to hide her shit-eating grin. That kid gave him the perfect excuse to show off. Izumi's mouth was gaping, like the rest of theirs were. Show off what after all of that? Sarutobi's eye twitched at the clone's hand signs. She didn't. He knew by the second dog sign she did. Who didn't what, Lord Hokage? Orochimaru asked, struggling his best to keep from laughing at what he already knew. Try this. Naruto threw the shuriken, and it was joined by hundreds of others. Shuriken Shadow Clone Jutsu. He drew a kunai as Niji began spinning again to deflect them. Anku. The woman in question broke into laughter while everyone stared at her. Okay. That was worth it. Nice knowing you, dumbass. Tenten nearly threw herself over the railing. I want that. She recalled the target of it and sat back in her seat, doing her best to avoid other spectators' eyes. And for him to live and win, duh. He waited for the moment he began to stop before throwing the kunai. The clone, still having plenty of chakra left over, made the snake sign and clapped his hands. While he was sure his enemy could see it with the Byakugan, he knew there was no way for him to respond or know what was about to happen. It was too slow to his ignorant mind with the hand signs of a jutsu he never saw before minimized. Niji realized far too late. His rotation of chakra was already gone, he lacked the momentum for the spiral to form, and the wind-launched kunai was nearing the target of his eye. Valuing his life and Kekai Genkai, he managed to obstruct its path with his wrist instead. The resulting spray of blood still blinded it, but that would go away in time. Chunin exams? Kotetsu scoffed. That kid's on the level of a fucking jonin. Anko snickered, drawing their eyes again. Oh yeah! She glanced at Kiba. He choked out your sister the first time they fought. And he was rusty! Hinata turned back to the match at hand. Naruto, please don't kill him. You can try calling out to him again. Kiba said, voice downtrodden over the true gap between his preliminary foe and him. Have some faith. Anko began munching on the dumplings in her other hand. He believed in you, didn't he? She almost choked on her snack when her entire body turned red. I've been waiting years for this day, Naruto said, poofing everything he cloned and stomping to his wounded opponent. Even though victory was assured, he couldn't stop feeling angry below the surface. He hated him. Niji furrowed his brow. You always were the type to gloat. With his wounded hand, all he could do was block. He could still attack with his good arm, but they had to be devastating. Heart, lungs, and liver were his best options. Those eyes. He drifted off and bared his teeth. Everyone's always looking at me with those eyes. The Hyuga sprung when he was in range. He grabbed the handle to the kunai lodged into his wrist and twisted it. Seeing his eyes widen in pain, he jabbed his pointer and ring fingers into them. There was one last, literally blind attempt to go for his heart, but he broke that finger with a punch and followed up with another to break the rest. He tore the kunai free, kept Niji from falling by the shoulder, held the blade to his throat, and glared at his blank with his red. I've been dreaming of this day for so many years, and it's finally a reality. You miserable piece of shit! I've got more than enough cause for killing you! But I... His eyes faded back to blue at the disbelieving, broken look in his. Dropping the kunai, he tossed him aside. Oh, forget it. He looked to the proctor. Call the match already. Genma nodded, breaking out of his shock. Niji Hyuga is unable to continue. He raised an arm to the direction of the victor. Winner, Naruto Uzumaki. The boy's timing, ingenuity, and looks reminded him of the Hokage he used to guard. The few people who actually bet money on him were the first year, likely having made fortunes from what was an unlikely thing on paper. The power of love always triumphs. Ino cried out with tears in her eyes. That boy is magnificent, Orochimaru said. To prevail so utterly against the prime specimen of the Hyuga clan. He knew his student wouldn't fail him, even when she hated him. Perhaps she might still be worth some interest after all. He turned their strength into a weakness, taking advantage of their style's flaws and seeing right through their most defensive technique. Sarutobi elaborated. You'd never have guessed he was the worst in his class. When have paper reports ever been accurate? He nodded. Unfortunately, they're the best we have. I told you to have some faith. Anko chided. Hinata gave her a dirty look. Don't mistake my worry for doubt. She blushed at the relief she felt. That was very hard for him. The match itself was a cakewalk. That kid doesn't have a scratch on him. Izumo felt almost jealous. Kotetsu groaned. He's even better than us. Forever Chunin losers. Anko giggled. Maybe if you kept training, you'd be half as good as he is. It's not physical ability or just skill. Hinata began. Naruto saw through the gentle fist in its entirety. It doesn't need power, so we focus on speed, but how does that help us if our opponent is faster? She pursed her lips. It's not that Niji was slower, they were about the same speed. Naruto could react faster and saw every move he'd make. In truth, he could have won the match far earlier. He used Niji's own fingers to create shadow clones, saw a flaw in the 8 trigrams rotation after seeing it once, and just broke his fingers when he was done playing. It's unlikely he ever fought an opponent on his level that wanted to actually hurt him to that point. Battle analysis, Izumo said. Anko nodded with a hum. The kid regularly fought an Uchiha with second stage Sharingan to the point he learned how to attack when he blinked. Against an opponent who can read your every move, your best counter is reading theirs better or surprise attacks. The Byakugan's visual prowess is useful for their style, scouting, and seeing through genjutsu. Not reading techniques, Hinata added. We can see attacks, but it doesn't mean we understand them. Kid's a shoo-in for Chunin, and he'll make Jonin if he gets the Hokage's attention. Kotetsu clucked his tongue. Kiba groaned. I need to train harder. He glanced at his comrade. You don't want to be left behind either, right? Especially by Naruto. He choked down a laugh at her blushing face. Competition for him is going to be steep now. Anko grinned when she trembled. Every girl wants a mysterious tough guy. Father, who is that boy? Hanabi asked, a look of awe on her face. Hayashi watched the figure walk up the stadium wall to the waiting balcony, and the medic Nin going to the figure below. He recalled a rumor going around that the village Jinchuriki was trying to kill Niji. When he asked the boy, he simply called him a worthless nuisance. An unfortunate child breaking the chains of his destiny. He rose from his seat. I must see to Niji. She, eyes fixed on the young man, nodded. Yes, father. The rest of the contestants paid the victor no mind, save for Gaara's bloodthirsty stare. He was going to be a difficult fight for all of them. While his teammates were nowhere to be seen, he was a more than adequate representation of their strength. What room awaited the failed contestants was another crispy white stereo box. Niji lay on one of the beds with his fingers reset, wrist bandaged, and his eyes closed. It was the most wounded he'd ever been in his entire life. While the medics told him his eyes were fine, they hurt from the gouging. The overall pain he felt in his being made that feel like a dull ache. He opened his eyes at the door opening to see his clan patriarch walk through. What do you want? To tell you the truth. And Hayashi did. Despite being completely unnecessary, the boy's father gave his life in place of his. The Hokage was willing to go to war over the infamous kidnapping of Hinata Hyuga, but he didn't want anyone else to die after a long period of non-stop conflict the likes he wished to never experience again. He offered his head and Hizashi went in his stead, literally incapacitating him to do so, to break free from the chains that bound him. Saving his brother and anyone who could have died in an extended conflict was a bonus. Do you exp? Niji froze at the sight of his uncle bowing his head as low as he could. Believe me, please. Closing his eyes again, he turned his head to the ceiling. This is unbecoming of both of us. Tears streamed down his cheeks. A boy I wrote off as nothing, a boy that couldn't even scratch me, has become someone I couldn't even scratch. My father would respect him more than me. Hizashi loved you. Hayashi rose. The words were difficult for him to find, blinded by his hatred and anger, but our lives meant everything to him. You would only lose his respect if you squandered yours for nothing. What do you want most, Niji? I want to change, like he did, like Lady Hinata did. To break free from the binds I put on myself. He smiled and walked back to the entrance. I know you will. With no further words, he left his nephew alone to rest. Outside, the birds flew freely in the clear blue sky. The crowd roared in excitement for the next match. While horribly one-sided, the first was one hell of a spectacle to watch. A genin with jonin-level jutsu and skill coming from a clan no one ever heard of dominated one of the Hyuga clan, famous for their taijutsu, in taijutsu. An Aburame and a literally who Kankuro were next. After them, it was literally who Temari and Inara. The literally who Sakura and Dosa would fight before Sasuke, the last of the Uchiha, and Gaara of the Sand finished the first round. Kankuro and Shino Aburame! Genma called out. Come down for the next match. The Sand Ninja exchanged a look with his sister before leaning a bit over the railing. I forfeit. Pussy! Naruto yelled from his side of the balcony. Kankuro's grip tightened around the rail. Fuck you, man! He shivered as his brother glared at him. Their sister, unfurling her fan, broke them both out of it. Temari, taking a page out of Team 7's book, jumped over the rails and flew down to the arena floor on her choice of ninja tool. Hurry up, Shadow Boy! Troublesome. Shikamaru was leaning on the railing when he felt a hand grab his shoulder. He blinked, turned, and saw a grinning Naruto. Please don't! Sasuke and Sakura aren't here yet. His eyes narrowed. You're going down there to buy time, even if I have to throw you over. He threw up his arms. I'm walking. Fucking better be. So help me if you forfeit a minute in. Naruto shook his head free as Shikamaru disappeared into the staircase. Looks like I'm going to have to beat your ass, Shino, or spank Temari's again, only in front of a crowd this time. You may find me a difficult opponent in comparison to Niji, the strange boy said. I don't like Kekai Genkai, but I have to admit yours is pretty cool. Not quite sure how to handle a swarm of insects. Sure, I'll come up with something though. Shino murmured. Your abilities are impressive as well. I know. He leaned over the railing and raised an eyebrow at Kankuro. Why the hell are you still here? Fuck off, loser. I'm watching my sister's match. He grinned. So am I, but unlike you, we actually had the balls to fight our matches. You so. The Sand Ninja froze as he felt actual sand wrap around his body. All you've done for this entire event is be an embarrassment. Gaara willed the sand to drag him away and it did. I'm going to kill you if you say one more pointless word. Naruto smirked. Thank you? I'm going to kill you too. Sasuke's going to roast you like a snake in a forest fire. Dosa rolled his one eye. Can we stop measuring dicks for a minute and watch the match? He finally spoke, pointing at the arena floor where the two contestants stared off. I don't want to fight, and I don't care about becoming Chunin, but I'm not going to lose to a girl. Shikamaru said. Temari scoffed. Shadow Boy, I'm going to skin you and give it to that perverted bastard. He really made that good of an impression, huh? It's not. She drifted off at the facetious look on the Naruto's face. Fuck you. Genma took a deep breath, rolled his eyes, and sighed. Begin. Ino jumped up. Get her, Shikamaru. She looked to her other team member. Come on. Cheer with me. The sight of him only munching sucked the wind from her sails. It was not a short fight. Shikamaru was blown back almost immediately, and he stayed there. Instead of attacking, he just took cover behind foliage. Naruto would have mistaken his actions for stalling on his team's behalf if it wasn't obvious he didn't have much in his arsenal. There was an attempt made with his jacket and a kunai that went pretty much nowhere. Damn. He groaned. I was hoping I didn't have to do this. Ready to give up? Temari yelled. Shaking his head, he stood up and started running around the perimeter of the arena. Not quite yet. Asuma grinned with a cigarette between his teeth. Can't laze out of this one, Shikamaru. He glanced at his curious, totally platonic female friend. Just watch, Kurenai. While not nearly as insane as Kakashi's punk, I taught him some moves. The boy stopped short of a cutting wind, dropped down from a follow-up, sprung to his feet, unhooked his pouch, and threw it between them. Don't laugh. At WH. Temari stared as small, top-heavy balloons flew from it into the sky. Are you joking? I wish. He dropped down and made the rat sign, extending his shadow forward. He smirked when she realized there were small yet sizable shadows dotting the arena floor. The brief moment of surprise was all it took, and the possession was complete. I told you not to laugh. He walked over to the pouch and took out an explosive tag before approaching the girl who had no choice but to do the same without the ninja tool. Her eyes widened. I give up. Shikamaru admitted first. Betrayal. Ino cried, pointing a finger at him. After all of that training? Naruto nearly jumped into the arena. You fucking bitch. You had it. He dispelled the jutsu and held out his arms, careful to not trigger the explosive. I'm running out of chakra. I just used my trump card, and I really don't want to blow a girl up while she has time to think about it. He narrowed his eyes. Don't you think that'd be a little fucked up? No. Genma shook his head. Winner. He lifted the arm in her direction. Temari! Enko rolled her eyes at the two returning to the contestant balcony. Well, that was lame. It was the wise thing to do, Izumo said. Kotetsu nodded. He'd make a good chunin. Maybe even better than the other one, considering he fought more with his head. Oh, so I guess seeing through one of our best styles and tearing it apart, like it were academy shit, isn't fighting with your head, huh? Enko scoffed. This is why you'll never make jonin. Kotetsu glanced at her and scowled. Being jonin doesn't mean you're better than us. That is literally what a jonin is to a chunin. And not a deadpan. Kiba patted her shoulder. I think we should stay out of this. Nonsense! Enko grabbed them both by the shoulder and leaned her head in by theirs. Feel free to stay in as long as you want. Her eyes narrowed. You do agree that I'm better than these two literal gate guards, right? We go on missions, Izumo protested. Kotetsu nodded. We're proctors for the chunin exams right now. So am I. You're not special. Kiba gave her an odd look. You're a lot like Naruto. No, she isn't. And Nada glared at the woman and pried her hand from her shoulder. Enko laughed as she seized her grip. You're cute when you're angry. If he sees you like that, I'm sure he'd think the same thing. She laughed again at her blushing. Is he your boyfriend or something? Kotetsu asked, making her condition worse. Izumo hummed. It would explain how well he knows the gentle fist, intimate training sessions. That's enough, boys. Enko raised an eyebrow at the red, shaking Hyuga girl. She can't take much more. Asuma took a drag from his cigarette. The outcome wasn't ideal, but he was still proud of his student. What do you think? He'd make a good chunin, Kurenai answered. Just needs more motivation. I'll make sure to tell his mother. She choked down a laugh. That's what's been helping him improve. He nodded. A man can resist many things. He exhaled smoke. But he is powerless in the face of his mother expecting more from him. Speaking from experience? She's been dead for 13 years, and I still have dreams where she tells me to do more. Half of the next contestants being absent halted the declaration of the match. One was already forfeited before it even began, so they were holding out to appease the audience, who were getting antsy. Lee and Guy arrived to sit beside a contemplative Tenten in the meantime. Then members of the audience began voicing their complaints. Genma glanced at Reito Namishi, an old friend and a fellow former guard for the 4th Hokage, flickering to his side. Disqualification? He hummed at his nod. Because a leafy gust of wind in the center of the arena floor cut him off. Naruto leapt over the railing and darted towards the three familiar figures. Crashing into two of them, he put his arms around their shoulders to bring them close, a gesture they returned. A hand patted against his head to join in. I miss you. He could feel tears well up in his eyes as he pouted. And you missed my match. Miss you too, but we needed a wardrobe change. Sakura, in a far more form-fitting red chipao and with shorter hair, said. Sasuke, now with the longest hair and in black, rolled his eyes. She insisted on it, and to be fair, we were covered in dirt. He looked him up and down. Not a scratch on you. Is Niji alive? What would killing him have changed? Kakashi I smiled. I'm proud of you. He opened his eye and narrowed it. Now, what did Anko do with you? Nothing. Naruto half lied. The eye twitched. Do you really expect me to believe that? He narrowed his own eyes. Why did you give her explicit orders to protect my virginity at all costs? He tilted his head. My personal relationships are none of your business. Actually, they are. Naruto, don't lie to us. Sakura squinted at him. What did that crazy lady do to you? Oh, come on. Not you too. Sasuke shook his head. If she did something, he'd be bragging about it. He glanced at the nearest proctor. And we're holding up the exams. Kakashi, Rado greeted. The copy ninja inclined his head. Didn't expect to see you two here. We'll go to the proper areas, no worries. Sakura Haruno, I presume? Genma spoke, looking at the girl in question. He hummed when she nodded. Just in the nick of time. He turned to the contestant balcony. Dosa! Naruto walked to the stadium wall with his teammate by his side while Kakashi flickered away. Kick his ass, Sakura! It'll be over in a minute. Sasuke smirked, walking up to the balcony the ninja way. Your entire team is troublesome, Shikamaru said as they reached the railing. I'm glad I gave up. Naruto scoffed at Sasuke's questioning look when they climbed over it. He got the fan chick in his shadow possession and was about to paper bomb her before giving up. Something about having already lost the tournament. And Shino? The boy in question seemingly appeared from nowhere. My opponent forfeited before the match began. So we only missed one fight. Hey, Temari and Shikamaru said in unison. Do you really want to compare your match to mine? Naruto grinned at their dismayed faces. That's what I thought. Sasuke leaned back on the railing. What exactly happened? While they explained the fight to him as they waited for Dosu to get into position, Kakashi sat behind Guy. There are only two Umbu teams here, he whispered. They are probably on the outside gathering intel. The final stage of the Chunin exams just barely started. Factors years in the making were about to collide. An attack was assured. Survival was questionable for many civilians and unprepared shinobi. It'd be unforgettable regardless. Chapter 18. This is Power. It was the start of the fourth match. Sakura, waiting for her opponent, stretched on the arena floor. Naruto was regaling Sasuke with details on how his match went with the retired and waiting contestants, confirming everything he doubted. Tenten did the same with Lee, who felt proud of his academy acquaintance. Their sensei couldn't believe his ears, so he questioned his eternal rival on his training regiment. Before their first real mission, all three did nothing but refine their taijutsu. And they did the same through the entire time we were in Wave, which was about a month. They kept training even when they were home. Sakura had excellent chakra control, so I taught her genjutsu while the boys kept competing with each other. I'm not sure what Naruto did under Anko. It sounds like he picked up some ninjutsu. Tenten almost pouted with jealousy. The Shuriken Shadow Clone Jutsu. Gale Palm Jutsu too by the sound of it. Kakashi hummed. I thought he lacked real experience from only fighting Sasuke, but I didn't realize he's become that good. Against an opponent with the Sharingan, you must either move too fast for them to respond or blindside them. Which of the two has the lead? Guy asked. I don't keep track. All I know is Sasuke wins more often than not, but it's game over if Naruto manages to get him into a hold. When Sasuke doesn't see it coming, it's an automatic loss. Lee pumped his fist into the air. Then Naruto is equal to, if not better than, Sasuke, even with his Sharingan. Kakashi shrugged. It's been over a month since I've seen them spar, and I didn't see the fight. Sasuke, as he is now, could have ended it without getting hit too. I smiled at Guy's doubtful face. Sakura would have had some trouble though. She's improved that much since the preliminaries? Tenten asked. Let's say we weren't late just because we needed a new change of clothes. Dosu took his place opposite of Team 7's female member. He wasn't sure what to do. The rest of his team was missing, and he hadn't received any contacts since the preliminaries. His Kekai Genkai, unique to the land of rice, the sound nature transformation formed by wind and lightning, gave him an edge few ninja would ever expect. You're from the Sound Village, right? Sakura's eyes narrowed. The one formed by Orochimaru? He waved one of his overly long sleeves. That's just a foul rumor. Actually, it's true. You might want to just kill this one, Genma said. Aren't you supposed to be an impartial referee? He shot him a look. I hate snakes. Raising an arm, he stepped back. Begin! Dosu tried to raise his drill arm but caught a fist right in his throat and a knee to his gut. When he lurched over, he got an elbow to his spine that pushed him to the ground. A kick to his stomach flipped him onto his back. He managed to move his drill arm but couldn't block the punches to his nose and chin. Inky black unconsciousness became his world not even a minute into the fight. Winner! Genma lowered it in the girl's direction. Sakura Haruno! She stood up to face the crowd and felt a growing nausea. About 3 seconds later, she puked over the fallen sound ninja. It was from a strange sense of unbalance rather than personal disgust. Her cheeks grew a pink tint as she made her way to the balcony, regaining her steadiness with every step. I guess she has the jitters? Tenten choked down her own urge to vomit. Kakashi shrugged. She was fine during the preliminaries, but there are well over 100 people here. Brilliant, Sakura! Lee clapped his good hand against his thigh. Excellent performance! Anko, back with the rest of Team 8, and 2 of her old academy classmates, held on to her sides laughing while they stared at the fallen ninja. Oh man! I don't know if she meant to do that, but that was hilarious. Just imagine the look on that stupid mummy's face when he wakes up. Holy shit! Kiba looked at a distant orange-blue figure enjoying the aftermath just as much as she was. You really are like him. He flinched at Hinata's cold gaze and pet his shivering dog. I know you didn't mean to do that, but that was fucking hilarious. Naruto leaned against the railing as Sakura walked over it and landed between her teammates. Sasuke, eyeing the medics rushing to the sound ninja, put a hand on her shoulder. Still adjusting? I just felt really sick for a moment. She glanced at him. Your match is coming up. From the corner of her eye, she noticed Shikamaru's shiver by Shino. Naruto leaned back on the railing to glare at a trembling Gaara. Remember what I said to Bushy Brows, kill him the first chance you get. I appreciate the concern, but I want to see what he can really do, Sasuke said. Don't be stupid. The nervous Nara peeked out from the Abirame. He's Zen, he knows. Naruto interjected. Sasuke turned to his teammate, realizing what he meant. When did he? It's complicated. This conversation is confusing. Shino chimed in. I would like to know what the big secret is. You're probably about to see it. Temari felt a bead of sweat go down the side of her face. We can hear you. Does it seem like I give a shit? Naruto's eyes remained fixed on her brothers. Sasuke can handle it, Sakura said with a smirk. I'm more worried about fighting him next and fighting you for the champion position. Shino cleared his throat. You should worry about me. I'm going to blow you away, bug boy. Temari scoffed. Naruto rolled his eyes. Are you sure you're not going to just blow him? If you somehow win, I'm only going to spank your ass again in front of an audience. He grinned. And I will literally do that until you forfeit. You purr. Sand coiling around her body silenced her. Gaara growled. Shut up. He willed it to drag her to Kankuro and it did. I'm going to kill all of you starting with the Uchiha. His eyes remained fixed on the other Jinchuriki. But I'm going to take my time with you. Don't flatter yourself, runt. This isn't the forest of death. Your Kekai Genkai can't save you from me anymore. Sasuke scoffed. It's not going to save him from me. Sure. Naruto inclined his head. I'm fucking with him. He whispered. I know. He deadpanned. Sakura giggled, even as they felt the sand ninja's murderous intent. I miss this so much. Troublesome. We're all going to die. Shikamaru said with a shake of his head. I still don't know what the big secret is. Shino placed a hand on the young man hiding behind him. Tell me. He gradually inched his face closer. Now. Sasuke, Uchiha, and Gaara. Genma called out from the arena floor. Immediately, the stadium filled with cheers. It was the main event of the first round and was expected to be of the entire tournament, though some people thought Naruto going up against another clan progeny after schooling one might have been better. There were many bets in place too. Little did anyone know just how much was riding on the match going a certain way. Orochimaru smiled beneath his mask with the stolen face of the fourth Kazekage. What all the lords and shinobi here have been waiting for, the last of the Uchiha and Gaara. Sarutobi nodded. His sand may be less durable than your gold, but it's far more plentiful. His eyes narrowed. I'm curious to see how Sasuke fares against such a formidable defense. Oh shit, here we go. Shikamaru watched with the rest of them as Gaara flickered away with a swirl of sand down. Get down here, Uchiha. Naruto patted him on the shoulder. Fuck him up. Yeah. Sakura did the same to his other, using her free hand to pump a fist. That was the plan. Sasuke leaned back and let himself fall over the edge. He caught himself after flipping by planting his chakra-infused feet into the wall. I'm going to show you the results of my training. With a launching jump, he cleared the distance between himself and the ground, landing some ways from his opponent. Shikamaru rolled his eyes. Troublesome. What is with everyone's crazy entrances? Not our fault you lack swagger and style. Naruto smirked. I like my bones where they are. Shino hummed. I am unsure of how to make such an entrance with my physical conditioning as well. He glanced at the poster child for unnecessary flourishes of ability. What would you recommend? I guess you can go in with your bugs as a kind of cloud or cape. He nodded. I understand your meaning, and I will take your recommendation into consideration. Not you too. Shikamaru groaned. You don't have to be here, but your laziness confines you. He turned to Kankuro. As for you, I find it hard to believe you care about your sister to the extent you would support her like this. The spectator seats are not that far away even if you were. His tone conveyed his meaning where everything else about him did not. Why are you here? Lay off, free. The sand ninja paused as Naruto froze mid-bounce step punch. Shikamaru, crouched with the rat sign, felt sweat run down his brow. Just like old times. Sakura patted her teammate on the shoulder. Hey. Her voice was as gentle and warm as her touch. Hey. He looked to his old detention buddy with calm eyes and walked back to his position after being released. Word of advice, stay away from certain F words. Shikamaru rose and shook his head. They rub people the wrong way around here. Shino hummed. Thank you, Naruto. I didn't do that for you, but you're welcome. He blinked and glanced at Sasuke staring off a muttering Gaara with his sand going crazy. Holy shit, did we miss the start of the match? My analysis drew everyone's attention for once, my apologies. Does your tailed beast speak to you or are you deranged on your own? Sasuke tilted his head at the sand forming another Gaara. If that can't use jutsu and is just as fragile as a normal solid clone, you just wasted your chakra. He walked forward at a casual pace. When the sand clone charged, he launched himself to the side, keeping one foot on the ground to steer himself to the real one's side. The impact between his fist and sand armor was all too satisfying. It all happened in an instant. Naruto laughed as their teammate didn't give his opponent time to react or move. He's lucky he's fighting a dumbass who lets his jutsu do all the work for him. Think you can keep up? Sakura asked, smirking. All I need to do is adjust my timing. Good speed at the expense of mobility leaves you open to anyone who's not an idiot, even if you have good timing of your own. He grinned at the onslaught focused on the sand ninja's head. Look who's taking my advice. Come on. You know he's following his own intuition. I wouldn't put it behind him, but I thought of it first back in the preliminaries when bushy brows beat him around instead of making an opening. Guy stared, wide-eyed, at the boy's movements. Now what kind of training regimen did you have him do? He's moving just like Lee. Tenten glanced at her shaky teammate. Practicing taijutsu in a mountainous area, Kakashi said. He memorized your students' movements with his Sharingan, and I gave him a few pointers. So you had them train for a month wearing the weights of elevation and practicing footwork. Kakashi, you genius! I'm stealing that like your student stole mine's movements. Well, it's not like I owned it, go ahead. Tenten twitched at her bowl-cut teammates' enthusiastic cheers. Is now really the time? Yes! They cried in unison. Gaara growled in frustration as the sand armor on his face was beaten off almost entirely. While not as fast as Lee when he used his forbidden technique, the Uchiha's attacks were meticulous. His sand was moving to replace what was lost from the rest of his body, but that was just a sign the tactic was working. The clone he made was ignored completely and a waste of sand. It was too early, yet he didn't have much of a choice if he wanted to win or even survive. Sasuke's brow furrowed at his enemy making the tiger seal and encasing himself in a dome of sand. He could have rushed in, but there was a chance he would be crushed. Moving to the dome's flank, he jumped back to see no sign of the sand clone. Gaara was either preparing for something big or trying to use his aggressiveness against him. Show me what you can do! He backflipped onto the arena wall and squatted. Don't hold back! Damn it! Not now! Temari stared at the dome in horror alongside her brother, attracting looks from the other contestants. This must be how the run transforms. Shikaku isn't like the rest of us, strongest in the desert where there's sand to fall back on, not like that was ever enough to beat me. Unless that Uchiha has a powerful new jutsu or interrupts it, he's going to die. Naruto scoffed. I guess that idiot really is pathetic enough to rely on that thing. He smirked at the sand ninja's surprised faces. Talks to a voice that isn't there, everyone's scared of him, and has a strange power that acts on its own. Don't you think it's obvious? Wait, Sakura said. You hear a voice? Oh fuck, you're one too? Kankuro swallowed and stepped back. Temari joined him. That's why he wants to kill you so much. I would like very much to know what is going on, Shino said, turning to the rest of his comrades. Please. Shikamaru groaned as he stared at the dome of sand below. You're about to find out, and I think the rest of today is going to be so fucking troublesome. He glanced at a bouncing delinquent. It's going to get loose. It's going to attack the spectators. Someone's going to have to drop in. Naruto squealed in excitement. I'm going to look so awesome. Old man Hokage's going to be so proud. Everyone's going to be so fucking speechless. I really don't know who you are anymore. Sakura shot her present partner a look. Now is not the time to be an attention whore, and Sasuke's still fighting. Doesn't matter. This match is going to spiral out of control. The Sand siblings would laugh at how little he knew that statement was true if it wouldn't give them away. When they saw the signal, they'd run out of that balcony as fast as possible. They came to the Chunin exams expecting to stomp the competition but found out the hard way why the leaf is still standing despite being between every ninja village. Chances were, even with the surprise attack, their plans would fail. If they did enough damage or hurt too many people and still lost, the leaf would be inclined to burn their village to the ground in retaliation. Lucky there were other powers that would step in if they saw the leaf weak. It's some time for the dome of sand to begin expanding. Strange feathers began to fall from the sky to accompany it. Black lines appeared along the growing sand formation. Few people understood exactly what was going on with the sand, but all shinobi and those aware of genjutsu knew what the feathers meant. Naruto, Sakura, and Shino made the tiger seals to withstand the sleeping effect while Kankuro rode on Temari's fan with her away. Shikamaru seemingly fell unconscious on the floor of their balcony. It took them just 2 seconds to understand what was happening. Kiba and Hinata, having a genjutsu specialist for a jonin, joined the Chunin duo and Anko in dispelling the genjutsu. The Chunin drew their weapons to force back springing assailants before Anko just threw her dango skewers through their throats. The second the present jonin completed the seal, they began slaughtering the enemy ninja. Kurenai put them under genjutsu, and Asuma slashed through them with his chakra blades. Guy and Kakashi were the equivalent of 2 whirlwinds, one of thrashing limbs and the other of black metal, around the former students. Hayashi Hyuga's distaste for violence and warfare was reserved for situations where his precious kin weren't threatened, so the sand and sound ninja that went anywhere close to him were gifted with chakra shooting through their hearts. Genma retreated from the arena floor to the nearest balcony, evading and returning shuriken. Rado, cut off from the Hokage by sound ninja disguised as Umbu, blew back charging foot soldiers and their ninja tools with a controlled ball of fire. Sakura dropped to Shikamaru, made the release sign, blinked, and punched him in the gut. Are you fucking kidding me? She grabbed his springing body by the shoulders and shook him. We're being attacked and you pretend to sleep? You asshole! From the corner of her eye, she saw Naruto attach himself to the wall. Wait. Stay together. I'll back up Sasuke. You. She laughed at his earnest smile, giving in to his whims. Come back with him. Nodding, he spared a glance at the growing sand creature in the arena before taking off to their isolated comrade. The Uchiha finished pummeling one foolish, barely Chunin-level ninja when he was flanked by another. He kicked them between the legs, jumped up to grab his taller opponent, slipped his arms underneath his, and held on to the back of his neck. Behind you! Sasuke spun on his heel and crushed the defenseless man's throat in one fluid motion. Thanks! He looked down at the emerging tailed beast. I actually don't know if I'm ready for that. Naruto let go of his good-as-dead enemy and attached his feet against the wall before he could fall with him. Just leave it to me. Are you going to transform too? Fuck no! He laughed. I'm going to become a candidate for Hokage. What? A dangerous grin spread across Naruto's face. Keep them off my back. It was irresponsible to let the other Jinchuriki complete his transformation, but he didn't care. There was something he wanted to do and prove, just like Sasuke. Only he had a jutsu and the reserves to pull it off. At the very least, it would be extremely demoralizing for the enemy if their secret weapon was demolished using somewhat regular ninja methods. Danzo arrived late to the final stage of the Chunin exams. He knew what was going to happen, and he was conflicted over being a part of it or not. There was much at risk. Risking his life meant nothing to him, but he was concerned what would happen to the village if he died. At the same time, it would be disastrous if his old rival died. It was a lose-lose scenario. Chances were he'd be facing down the same mob of rabble ninja crowding a hall in his way. You should be scared, old man, one of the sounds said. Feelings are the enemy of all shinobi. He drew a shuriken from his pocket. And I have no need to be scared of carrion for the vultures. With a single blow of his lips, it was infused with chakra. A flick of his fingers turned it into a wind saw. They threw shuriken and kunai at him, but the vacuum shuriken shifted to a diagonal in the air to block. Only a few had time to jump when it went horizontally into them. Those lucky few weren't so lucky as it went up after them, bisecting what was left. When the wind chakra vanished, he drew the shuriken back into his hand through movements of his chakra-stringed fingers. I always thought you'd be the first out of us to die. He walked through the bloodied hall with insides strewn about at a brisk pace, still wary of expending his energy. Strange how circumstances throw our expectations back in our faces. The shinobi of darkness faced battle once more. Decades without proper conflict passed for him, but it was negligible in face of an enemy that underestimated him due to appearance alone. He was once and still was the god of shinobi's only rival. Everyone who got in his way would suffer for their ignorance. While Kotetsu and Izumo protected the two genin and unintentionally created openings for Anko to skewer snipe, the former star student of Orochimaru felt her curse mark burn. They were informed ahead of time there was going to be some kind of attack. Whether it was Orochimaru wanting to see if he can destroy the village, trying to capture Naruto, trying to capture Sasuke, or all three they, except her, weren't sure of. It was him eating his cake and having it too. His first target would be the biggest obstacle in his way, the Hokage. Can you two dumbats hold out on your own? Kotetsu rolled out a scroll, summoning a mace formed of a massive shell. Kids, can you fight? Yeah. Kiba crouched as Akamaru scurried onto his back. With a hand seal, his pet dog turned into another him. Let's do this. Hinata activated her Byakugan and dropped into a stance. My wounds are still healing, but I will not be a burden. Good. Izumo's brow furrowed. Do what we tell you, and we'll live through this. He blocked a thrown kunai, put his blade against one a sand ninja tried to stab him with, deflecting the blow, and jabbed the tip through his throat before throwing his dying body to the side. Anko? She left the moment they received confirmation from their charges. Looking up to the top of the Kage balcony, she saw a barrier in place and knew it was happening. The man she hated the most and the man she loved the most were about to kill each other. Damn! We could have used some help. He glanced at the Hyuga. Scout for routes to safer areas, hidden enemies, and other leaf ninja. He couldn't afford to look at Kiba as a sound ninja took the place of the sand. Inuzuka! You scout for hidden enemies too, but flank when we need it. The two members of Team 8 nodded, knowing better than to protest in their current situation. Sakura, Shino, and Shikamaru were left alone in the contestant balcony. While the awakening-tailed beast was a concern, that was far beyond their current level. Facing an invasion of foreign ninja was more fair. Both were still difficult and not ideal though. Where's Niji? Shino pointed at the hall leading deeper into the arena construct rather than out. He is in no condition to fight, but it would be wrong to leave a comrade to die. Troublesome. Shikamaru flinched when the only female smacked him over the head. Sorry, I just really wanted to sleep through this entire thing. She started rushing down the hall, the boys following her. They would have killed you. No, I'm a Nara. They would have held me hostage or turned me into a breeding stud. You. It's true. Those Cloud assholes tried to kidnap Hinata when she was a kid. But Hinata's a girl. Shikamaru rolled his eyes. She's part of the main branch, so she doesn't have a seal that could kill her if need be. Her father only had girls. They kind of had no better options. You're telling me Niji and the rest of the branch family have a kill switch? Sakura flinched at the two nodding. That's really fucked up. Clan secrets and Kekai Genkai are important, but I understand your disgust. To do such a thing to family is extreme, Shino said. Clan politics are so troublesome. Shikamaru sighed as they reached the medical room door. Speaking of troublesome, they opened it and found Niji surrounded by a dozen fallen sand and sound ninja. He turned to face them and inclined his head. We have been betrayed. Lacking control of his fingers, he pointed his arm at a conscious and terrified Dosu. He insists he has nothing to do with this and wishes to defect. I have an uncommon Kekai Genkai. The Lost Sound Ninja laughed. But I guess that's not saying much in the face of 3 Leaf Village clan members. Sakura raised an eyebrow. And why should we believe you? I demonstrate, but I'm terrified and have no idea why I'm even here. If you're going to kill me, just make it fast. Shino stepped forward. I can drain him of chakra to incapacitate him, but he will slow us down. I say we just leave him. Shikamaru chimed in. If he was going to try something, he would already. Niji is surrounded by what should be his comrades, but he hasn't made a move. He turned to the Hyuga. Has he? No. Sakura nodded. Then let's go. She turned and led them through the door. We're not going to survive long on our own. I'll scout ahead. Niji activated his Byakugan and nearly tripped. What the hell is that in the arena? A tailed beast. Shikamaru groaned. What? Sakura frowned. It's a long story. And then they felt it. I'm finally free. Ah fuck. It was a sentiment shared by everyone else in the arena, even the Sand and Sound Ninja. A tailed beast was a force of nature. Only the best of Kage could match, and theirs was, unknown to them, trapped. Even then, the sheer presence of the creature was enough to dissuade them. Proper guidance could let it destroy the Leaf Village. Shikaku was a magnificent sight to those unfamiliar with the tailed beasts, which was almost everyone. The one tail was dwarfed by the rest, but that wasn't relevant to those witnessing it. Survivors of the Nine Tails attack felt similar dread at the odd chakra. While not as strong, it was more than enough. Where is he? It looked into the balconies, paralyzing all ninja caught in its gaze. That mangy fox's brat. Sasuke gaped at the one tail. Is beating that even possible? He turned to a shaking, grinning Naruto. Be serious. Damn it. Don't tell me he ran away. After all of that talk about being on my level. Well, it seems like this might be it, Kakashi. Guy said. He extended his hand and a thumb. Yo. His eternal rival grabbed it. Not yet. He glanced at the distant figure of his ecstatic punk student. Can't believe I'm saying this, but Naruto might have a plan. Tenten took advantage of their enemy's uneasiness and littered them with shuriken, albeit far more imprecisely than usual. What could he possibly do against that? Come on, Nine Tails. Show me how much better yours is. Enko looked from the tailed beast to the barrier around the Hokage. There was a much greater pain in her chest. She could only try and save one. Fine. I'll just blow it all away. Shikaku opened his mouth and gathered chakra into a ball in it. One-tailed runt. The ball of chakra ceased as he began to turn. You. Naruto created a single clone and threw him over. I'm going to show all of you. He pointed his thumb at himself. I'm the one. He let his excitement growl in his voice. With power. Please, yo. The arena erupted in light. When those watching opened their eyes, they saw more than half of the tailed beast's body missing. Holy shit. Sasuke watched his comrade launch himself off the wall and did the same to avoid a retaliating blast of wind that broke chunks off the structure. He's got this. Enko whispered to herself, tears of pride in her eyes. She continued to the Kage balcony with no further doubts. It's your turn, old man. Kakashi shared a look with his best friend. I refuse to be outdone by a genin, much less my own student. He lifted his forehead protector. Let's do this, Kakashi. Guy's body turned red as he activated the 8 inner gates. Izumo and Kotetsu blitzed the shocked enemy ninja, cutting them apart and smashing them. They were too slow to resist the Kibus launching combo. Even Hinata in her wounded state took down more than a few. It was impossible for them to hold back or resist. What they witnessed made them all feel inadequate, and they needed to prove that feeling wrong. Naruto stared down what was left of the tailed beast, brought his fingers together to split what was left of his chakra into more explosive clones, and grinned during his descent. His body hit the arena floor hard enough to break more than a few of his bones, but it was that or die. Are you watching, asshole? I am. The Nine Tails answered. And? He watched what was left of Shikaku's upper body get blown away after his clones latched onto it, leaving only Gaara left to fall down and join him. Come on, tell me. It's beautiful. He laughed when the other Jinchuriki smacked against the ground. Damn right. He groaned at his damaged insides and raised an eyebrow at the other's shaking form. Still alive, huh? Stay away. No more sand left. No more armor. It's scary, isn't it? Gaara's eyes widened. What? Getting hurt, getting close to people. Naruto's voice broke. And when you do, they hurt you, right? His vision blurred as tears fell from his eyes. You try to be different, better, and they still look at you like there's something wrong with you. They hide behind expectations, but that's just their excuse for staying the same while you actually try. He laughed, bitter and weak. Someone you loved really hurt you, didn't they? After everything, even when you forgive them, they still hurt you, so you started hurting them? He tried to kill me, so I killed him. I thought about doing that so many times, but I didn't think it'd change anything. Too many people care about me, and I don't want to disappoint them. He smiled. It's pathetic. I don't want to be alone, even when most people make me feel alone. He looked up to the blue sky. I want to be loved, but I don't even know what love is. I understand. Gaara joined him. While the battle for the Leaf Village raged on above and outside, two cursed children found peace, even if it was for a moment. It wouldn't last. That was the way of their world, but they'd enjoy it while it was there. Chapter 19 Four Monsters. Orochimaru stood on the roof of the balcony he sat beside his old teacher on. He partially resurrected and thralled the first and second Hokage. Had the fourth not used the Reaper Death Seal, he could have had him join the battle against the third. All of his attention was focused on the spectacle that occurred in the arena beneath them. I keep trying to write him off as a vessel, but Minato and Kushina's little boy truly is something else. Sarutobi, clad in his old war gear, stared down his old mentors and student. Naruto has suffered enough. He has prevailed through every obstacle, including his own failure. His gaze steeled. I will not let you fulfill your twisted fantasies with him. Even if we were all to fail, he would stop you himself. I remember when you had the same faith in me. Orochimaru smiled at the pained look of realization on the old man's face. He despises this village. Deep down, he resents you. Tilting his head, he giggled. He asked you about his father and mother, didn't he? Do you expect him to ever forgive you for hiding it? No, I do not expect him to ever forgive me, but I know he will understand one day. What do you think will happen when he discovers the truth? He giggled again when his old mentor winced. He'll become me either way. All the lies and shunning will carry him down a familiar road. The staff in the Hokage's hand, the transformed Monkey King Enma, glared at his old friend. Enough talk, do what must be done. I understand. He closed his eyes, took a deep breath, and sighed. Opening them, he felt his heart ache at the sight of the familiar faces before him. They would show him no mercy, so he would show them none. Of the countless regrets in his life, Sarutobi was certain his lies and inability to bond with the child were his biggest. He loved him, but he could not make him understand that he did. There was no one truly there in his life. It was meant to protect him. Ironic the harm it really did. Jinchuriki were a complicated strategic resource for a village. They weren't liked, they were necessary, but they were extremely dangerous. Few ever formed a functional relationship with their tailed beasts. Those that could were some of the most powerful shinobi to ever live. Even when the relationship was dysfunctional, they were still more powerful than an average shinobi. A full manifestation of a tailed beast form was either a sign they were breaking out or worked out some kind of deal with their Jinchuriki. It was supposed to be unstoppable, but all ninja present witnessed the impossible. A genin defeated a fully formed tailed beast. Temari and Kankuro, having regrouped with their sensei on a balcony after the genjutsu went into effect, stared at the sight of their brother, beaten and spent, next to his opponent. Gaara! Baki clapped his hands together, forming a gust to blow back shuriken and kunai thrown by Leaf Shinobi. Retrieve him and retreat! His eye narrowed. I'll deal with them. The Sand siblings nodded and immediately stepped over the railing onto the arena wall. A Leaf ninja blew a fireball at them, but it was blown away by a gale palm courtesy of their sensei. They darted down towards the last of their trio. You're good, Enma said, walking towards him and gesturing for everyone to get back. And WH. He sidestepped from a kunai thrown from behind. Spinning on his heel, he turned to face both sides and saw Rado with his hand extended. The two joined their hands to make signs, so he wisely jumped over the edge and attached himself to the wall, avoiding the wind-enhanced blast of an even bigger fireball. He clapped his hands to gale palm away supporting shuriken and kunai from the lesser ninja. This will be troublesome. While Baki held off two of the Leaf's best and a half-dozen supporting ninja, Temari and Kankuro rushed through the arena floor with no issue. All the fighting was isolated to the balconies once Shikaka fully manifested. Getting out would be hard with how bad the attack was going on their side of the end. The rest of the village was likely faring worse with their most experienced ninja preoccupied in the stadium. They'd be home free if they got over the wall. Sasuke flickered to his fallen comrade's side when they reached theirs. Not a chance! He brought his hands together to form seals as the two drew their weapon. Naruto lifted his upper body, to great discomfort, and grabbed his wrist. It's okay. He looked to the paused sand ninja. They just want to protect him too. What? Gaara whispered, glancing at the worried faces of his siblings. He flinched when his brother picked him up. It's alright. We'll patch you up as soon as we get out of here. I don't understand. Temari looked down at him. You're hurt really bad. She looked to the opening in the arena wall created by his tailed beast's wind blast. We'll go out through there. Should we really just let them go? Sasuke asked, glancing from his comrade to his supposed enemies running up the wall. Naruto groaned. I just beat a fucking tailed beast, that guy is out of it, and I don't have the chakra to do that again if it somehow bursts free one more time. Well? He looked to the combat-heavy balconies. We do have other problems. The rest of the village is likely under attack too. I can still fight, I think. Naruto stood up, took a step forward, and stumbled into Sasuke's warm shoulder. He started walking him towards the contestant balcony. Take it easy. We'll regroup with the others. They're probably trying to join with the Jonin. Once this place is secured, we'll be sent out to drive back the invaders. You've done your part already. It was awesome, right? That was insane. Sasuke laughed. Gaara, limp in his brother's oddly warm arms, groaned as they darted through the foliage surrounding the Leaf Village. Temari. Kankuro. For the first time in a long time, tears emerged from his eyes. I'm sorry. Kankuro shared a look with his sister and focused on the greenery ahead. Don't worry about it. He smirked at the relief in his chest. You're our little brother. Forgiving each other is what siblings do. Temari nodded, holding back tears. They kept going together as a family united. While they hoped Baki would escape, they left him in accordance with his orders before he was surrounded. It was unlikely, but he was the best the sand had to offer other than Gaara. At least they had each other. Outside of the Four Flames formation barrier jutsu isolating Orochimaru and Sarutobi from the rest of the world, two men stood guard. The four ninja maintaining it were powerful, but they were by no means the best. One of the two was probably one of the most dangerous ninja in his entire generation, while the other had abilities few could counter or conceive of. Any ninja that managed to break through the barriers protecting the four would have to deal with them. Enko walked onto the balcony roof from one of the supporting pillars. Old Ma. She froze at the sight of two grown test subjects. It's her. The orange-haired teenager in plain clothes stepped back, trembling. Everything is okay, Yugo. His silver-haired friend put a soothing hand on his shoulder. I won't let her hurt you. Of course he'd bring you two along. She let the black flame marks spread over her body. For someone who forsook Lord Orochimaru, you are quick to use his gifts. Odd maze-like lines grew over his. Enko laughed. Kimimaro, you delusional brat. She drew some shuriken from the pockets hidden in her coat. This is just as much mine. He glanced at his shaking friend. Stay back. No. He stomped forward, the side of his body taking on a stony appearance. I won't let you face this bitch alone. Bitch? Oh, little lab rat Yugo thinks he can talk down to his betters. Looks like he wants to help me freshen up on my anatomy. She blew wind chakra over her shuriken, threw one horizontally to make them jump towards her thanks to the little space they had, and threw another after. They hardened their limbs, one with protruding bone and the other through altering his flesh, to block the cutting wind. It halted them long enough for their enemy to create a shadow clone. While they could withstand slices, they weren't of the right durability to stop a curse mark amplified thrusting gale palm from blowing them back. Enko laughed. Did you forget who I am? She and her clone went through different hand signs. A great fireball blew from her lips and a gust of wind from her clones elevated it to the point someone would mistake it for a dragon breathing fire. Cruel delight filled her mind when she saw the two jump off the roof, half burnt, to avoid being fully scorched by the blast. Kimimaro propped Yugo up with his shoulder, keeping him from falling. The lines on his body grew in number. "We can't hold back. Lord Orochimaru is counting on us." He turned his head to see an old man walking away from the mutilated remains of Sand and Sound Ninja, a single shuriken in his unconcealed hand. "Orochimaru, you say?" Danzo blew on his shuriken, flicked it, and murmured when they deflected it. "Troublesome." His robe parted as he took out his burn-scarred arm. With a single hand sign, he blew them back and into a faraway wall with the great breakthrough jutsu before they could spring on him. He continued on his way to save his old friend, armed with the knowledge he was on the roof, by walking up the support pillars. Enko turned and nearly threw a shuriken at the old man when his sandals clacked against the tile. "What the fuck are you doing here?" "Saving Hiruzen from himself, Mitarashi." His visible eye narrowed at the barrier. "Judging from the 4 wretches still breathing, I assume they are also protected? One of them should have been scorched by my combination jutsu, so yeah." He glanced at the odd markings on her face before focusing on one of the barrier casters. "Then both of us must attack. I will use the vacuum blast bar, you bitch!" Yugo yelled. A strange collection of molded tubes firing chakra from his back launched him into the air. The entirety of his body was altered, making him look like a demon rather than a young man. He carried a dark-skinned, bony-tailed Kimimaro, bones jutting from his back, in his sturdy arms. Enko let her curse mark progress into its second stage to match. "That uppity lab rat is mine. Bones can fire them and manipulate them outside his body, so keep your distance and watch out." "That won't be necessary." Danzo drew a kunai, coated it with his breath, and held the scimitar-like wind chakra blade out with finesse. When Yugo threw Kimimaro over, he jumped over a formation of bone twisted into a drill around the boy's arm. He slashed into his neck the second he landed on the bone, but the vacuum blade only went half an inch in thanks to well-timed bone protrusion. Too shallow. He threw the blade at Yugo before he could launch himself at his unlikely ally, jumped, formed the tiger seal, and blew Kimimaro into the barrier, igniting him in purple fire. Enko saw Yugo distracted with anger and concern, so she went through 6 hand seals in a second to blast him with a concentrated lightning bolt, aiming to throw off his increased physical abilities through damaging his nervous system. Grinning at a cry of anguish, she undid the band in her hair before diving after the descending boy. "My least favorite brat." She kicked her legs into his unsteady form, slamming him into the ground and forming a crater on the balcony steps. He raised a shaky, bulky hand to protect himself. Unfortunately, he was too unsteady to move it in the way of her unnaturally powerful palm aimed at his face. "I hate you." His eyes widened as her golden-skinned fingers reached for one. "Please don't." I'll make it quick." She rammed her digits into his socket and tore out its black and gold contents. "Sample 18." Laughing at his screams, she crushed the eye. "Just grow another." She crossed her pointer and ring fingers to create a shadow clone. "We had some good times, but I have a cuter, grateful boy to play with now." They went through different hand seals together. "Bye-bye." She breathed her point-blank fireball first before her clone boosted it with the lesser breakthrough jutsu. The blood-curdling screams he made reminded her of many pleasant, albeit shameful, memories. When she stopped, she shook her head at the toasted body left over as her clone poofed out of existence. "Should have stayed in the fucking cage." "I'm sorry," he choked out. I'm sorry. Please, stop." Enko's golden eyes widened before her features returned to normal. "No. I'm sorry, Yugo." She looked away from her handiwork. "I should have protected you, nurtured you, and taken you with me, but I didn't do any of that. You'll be alright." She stepped onto the nearest supporting pillar. "Neither me nor Orochimaru will ever hurt you again." All the other conflicts in the stadium thankfully concealed her transformation and horrible actions. It didn't make her feel better about herself. The combination jutsu was meant to kill him, not incapacitate. His particular Kekai Genkai made death by unnatural means extremely difficult, and enhanced his natural abilities to assist in protecting him. They modeled the cursed seal of heaven after it, but its benefits were limited compared to the real thing. The final leaf contestants were looking at one of their own. Not long ago, they all felt the presence and heard the voice of a tailed beast. Only one of them got the opportunity to see it for real. He was also the only one who got to see how it was dealt with. They were as confused as he was taken back. "What the hell happened?" Sakura asked, raising an eyebrow at the Hyuga's gaping mouth. Shino hummed. It must have been dealt with in a spectacular, swift manner. Yes. Niji blinked. Naruto threw an exploding clone at it, and then made more clones to destroy what was left. Now you are making a poor attempt at a disarming joke. Does he seem like the type to joke? Shikamaru said, shaking his head. He was so excited because he was sure he had something that could take it. He groaned. Now Ino's going to want to train even harder, so troublesome. Sakura's eyes widened. You're telling me Naruto took down a tailed beast? That is what happened, Niji said as he stared out into nothing. Naruto did something only Kage are known to be capable of? Yes. I feel extremely inadequate. Shino looked down the hall. Does anyone wish to join me in taking their feelings out on the enemy? All but Shikamaru made affirmative noises. Each knew Naruto as the dead last. He was supposed to have flunked out or given up ages ago. Now, he was beyond any of them in terms of feats. It was likely he'd be made Jonin after a stunt like that, never mind their desperate scrambling to be made Chunin. Sakura balled her hands into fists. Let's fuck them up! They charged forward as one of them lagged behind, shaking his head and muttering troublesome under his breath, all the while. Sakura and Niji were the rampaging vanguard while Shino added in shuriken or dropped in to cover their missteps. Shikamaru kicked a few that were down to make sure they weren't pretending and to finish them off. The balcony next to theirs was sparse in terms of enemies, but they still made quite a racket engaging them. All right. Ino rose from her seat, having spent the entire time playing sleeping civilian, and threw a kunai into one of the sand ninjas' back when they went for her comrades. Let's go, Choji. She glanced at the pudgy boy, blinked, and punched him. Oh, come on! He shot up. What's the big eye? He blinked at his surroundings. We're under attack! Niji sprung over the sleeping crowd and facepalmed a sound ninja's head into a nearby seat before he could attack the Akimichi. Sakura weaved out the way of a kunai, launched herself over to its thrower, gut-checked him, followed with an uppercut, and dropped to avoid a flurry of shuriken from another enemy ninja. If there are this many here, how many are outside? Depends on the enemy's goals. Shino picked up a kunai and threw it into her assailant's throat. Ino threw a shuriken into one trying to sneak up on Niji. Obviously they're trying to hurt us. But who and why? Choji expanded his arm, grabbed a sand ninja, and chucked him over the railing. A long-haired man in a loose robe and brown haori holding a girl resembling him in his arms landed on the balcony railing. That's a good question. Lord Hayashi! Niji spun on his heel and elbowed a sound ninja in the gut before following up with a knee to his chin. Lady Hanabi! He stepped off the railing onto the balcony proper and let go of his daughter. Still haven't recovered from your match with Naruto Uzumaki, I see. He sprung toward one assailant, finger jabbed his heart, launched himself to the next to do the same, and repeated the process, clearing out half of the balcony by himself. Hanabi's face, despite remaining stoic, beamed. He blew up the mean tanuki. Who did what now? Choji asked, crushing a grown man's bones with his giant hand. Naruto beat a tailed beast all on his own. Sakura kicked a sand ninja in the crotch and put them in a headlock when they lurched over. That crazy, hyperactive punk! He dropped to the ground to avoid shuriken. What? Hayashi sprung to and took out the man pressuring the boy. Young man, you may have just slept through one of the biggest moments in your lifetime. He saw one draw a kunai at the sight of his unprotected daughter only to get taken down by his nephew. There is no need for you to protect the main branch. Hanabi would have dodged that. I'm protecting my family, Niji said, smiling as his other cousin gazed at the fallen man in disappointment. They took down the last of the enemy ninja in the area and were joined by Shikamaru by the railing. Of the 8 balconies, 3 are clear, the one you came from, where we are now, and where the nobles and government officials were. The Hyuga pointed to the leftmost one to them, where Rado and Genma were fighting Baki. There. He drifted right to the one with Kakashi and Guy visibly murdering every enemy ninja within their senses. Well, we don't need to worry about that one. He turned to the unclear one they were bordering. I may have left Kurenai and Asuma to fend for themselves. Shikamaru scoffed. They're probably grateful for the alone time. What? Sakura shot him a look. I have confidence in their abilities, but it will be more expedient if we assist. Hayashi looked to the Nara. If you wish not to see combat, you must watch Hanabi. He gave the stoically peace-signing girl a glance. I'm good. Ina Shikacho, here we go. Ino jumped and pumped her fist into the air. Sakura spotted her comrades on the arena floor from the corner of her eye and leaned over the railing. There's Naruto and Sasuke. She looked back at the clan head. We can't just leave them. Hayashi nodded. Go and lead them here. You and the Uchiha combined would be a match for most jonin. Take Hanabi with you in case we advance quickly. Her Byakugan will be of help. I'll go with you. The Abdurrahim stepped onto the railing, attaching himself to it with chakra. It'll do you no good to be ambushed on the way. Thank you, Shino. Sakura squatted down to carry the girl on her back and keep her hands free. She stuck her own feet to the railing. Together, they began sprinting down the arena wall. The edges of Hanabi's lips inched upward. Vomit girl. I really hope that doesn't become a thing. Sakura's face grew pink in embarrassment. The main object in the way of a Leaf victory, the one-tail, was out of the way. Still, there was much work to be done. No doubt the village itself was under attack. They could only hope their comrades would hold out until they secured the arena and mustered their forces for a counterattack. Danzo faced many opponents throughout his long life. He'd seen all manner of Kekai Genkai and obscure jutsu. From insane tactics to sound ones, he witnessed most of them. What stood before him, burning purple yet completely unfazed, was something he never imagined ever seeing once in his long life. Ah, I understand what you are now. His eye narrowed. That's Ella's conviction. Another lost child given purpose, just like Midarashi. She is discarded trash. Kimimaro flicked his wrist, shooting 10 finger bones into the old man, and darted forward to skewer him with his drill only to strike air. He raised his burned hand to loosen the wraps off his other eye, revealing a fully matured Sharingan. You are on the level of a Kage. Crossing both pointer and ring fingers, he created a shadow clone. It won't save you. Kimimaro turned and saw them go through hand signs. He shot his finger bones at them, but they turned midair to avoid them all too perfectly. A beam of water spat from one's mouth to barely dig into his side. His eyes widened when the other pointed his finger in the direction of the water cutter jutsu, amplifying the cutting portion of its name with the wind blade jutsu. Dropping to avoid a complete bisection, he shot as many finger bones as he could, managing to pop the water beam spewing clone and saving himself. Danzo landed and avoided an onslaught of finger bones with unnatural grace. What a troublesome ability! Save an old man some trouble and just die already! He went through several hand signs and took a deep breath. Knowing something big was coming, Kimimaro stood himself up by springing his ribs forward against the ground. He bent his knees to jump away when the screams of his best friend stopped him. You go! Then he felt multiple slashing forces rip through his torso. Feelings are the enemy of all shinobi, boy. You could have been something magnificent if you weren't a slave to them. He brought his hands together to form more seals. He rolled over and sprang the bones in his back to help launch himself over the edge of the roof. His eyes met Enko's as he fell while she rose. Hers were uncharacteristically sad while his were hateful. The irony that he was fine with her tormenting Yugo when Orochimaru approved was lost on him but not her. She stepped back onto the roof and walked to Danzo's side. If those two weren't so busy worrying about each other, that could have gone a different way. Still not enough to kill them. Her eyes flicked over the bones embedded in him as well as his Sharingan. What the fuck? Not now, Midarashi. I could say the same of that cursed seal on your neck. We need to save. Danzo drifted off as the barrier released, letting them see inside clearly for the first time. Unlike UT, Enko froze at what was a complete impossibility. No. The 4 conjurers of the barrier swept in to secure a shaking Orochimaru. A barrage of vacuum shuriken followed them courtesy of Danzo, but they lacked the chakra strings that let him counter any attempts to evade. Some Anbu that were waiting for the barrier to drop pursued and got caught in a web for their trouble. Both used too much chakra to pursue. Enko was too stunned to do anything but stumble forward. No, 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 no. She collapsed. Tears welling up in her eyes and flowing down her cheeks, she pushed herself on her knees. Old man? Her voice choked as she cradled the still body of Sarutobi, a seal burned into his stomach. We were too late. Danzo walked over and redid the bandages around his Sharingan. Orochimaru fulfilled one of his greatest dreams that day at a cost too great for him to accept. Naruto and Sasuke felt an awkward blend of relief and disappointment at the lack of enemies in their way. One of them was high off his victory against what should have been an impossible opponent. The other had a fancy new jutsu he trained with for half a month he didn't get the chance to use. Many normal, Sane people would just be fine getting to live with all the chaos going on. They were by most people's criteria crazy for what they were willing to endure, do, and work for. When they saw Sakura running towards them with Shino and a strange girl on her back, they felt even more relieved disappointment. "Oh, hey Sakura," they said in unison. She ground to a halt and blinked. "You two are bummed out no one tried to attack, aren't you? I beat a fucking tailed beast. I should be the #1 priority right now." Sasuke groaned. "I wanted to use my Chidori against Gaara, but I underestimated just how much he could draw from that thing. There's just no helping you." Sakura threw up her arms. "And I made a big deal about coming down here to lead you to safety. Shino came along and Hayashi gave us his daughter to act as a scout." Hanabi waved to punctuate her last statement. "I'm frustrated by your casual attitude about confronting and defeating a tailed beast, but we have greater concerns at the moment," Shino chimed in. "The village is under attack," Naruto said. "Kind of obvious. And our most powerful ninja are preoccupied here. Hayashi Hyuga is leading our old classmates, and Niji into battle to secure the arena." Sakura nodded. "Kakashi-sensei and Guy are drawing the most attention and killing pretty much everyone. He's aiming to help Kurenai and Asuma with their part of things. Then what are we waiting for?" Naruto looked at them all as they gave him looks. "I've fought in worse conditions. You blew up the mean Tanuki," Hanabi said, eyes sparkling in admiration. Shino murmured. "Surely, your chakra exhausted at this point. Hey, if he can take it." He pointed his thumb at his support. Naruto. Sasuke furrowed his brow. "We're in an extended combat scenario. The preliminaries were just one-on-one matches which started with us facing our enemies. This isn't anything like that, and you would be a burden as you are now. Oh come on. I beat a tailed beast. Can you imagine the look on old man Hokage's face is going to be when I tell him I kept fighting even after all that?" He laughed, to the pain of his insides. "Nothing's going to be the same after this. He's gonna have to put me first from now on. It'll be for the good of the village." He laughed and suffered harder. "What are you talking about? What was that about becoming a candidate for Hokage? He would be after accomplishing what he's done," Shino said. Naruto grinned. "I'm getting everything I ever wanted, and the only thing keeping me so still is my broken bones." Sakura rolled her eyes. "That's why you can't fight, dumbass." She turned and started walking to the arena wall. "Come on. I'm sure the Hokage's going to be proud of you," Sasuke said, following her lead. "Old man better be. I'm barely 13 and I took down a tailed beast. Who else in the entire world can say that? We're never going to hear the end of this, are we?" He laughed. "Everyone's going to regret looking down on me, going to have to appreciate me, and going to have to acknowledge me. You're like a spoiled kid." Sakura groaned. "You'll have to stay alive long enough to get all of that anyway. Fine, I'll stay close to you guys and rest or whatever. Guess I am pretty tired after today. Been going through way too much lately." Sasuke smiled. "It'd be good to know just what kind of training you did under that proctor. That jutsu of yours seems like it'd be pretty useful. You better have just been training with her instead of under her." Sakura squinted at him. "There are children present," Shino said, reminding them of the girls silently enjoying their banter. It was an innocent exchange between comrades. They laughed, felt annoyed, and jabbed at each other. While the battle kept raging around them, they felt safe since they were together again. One wondered if that feeling was what it was like to have a family. The other never thought they'd feel anything quite like it ever again. The last was an only child with doting parents that couldn't let them go. Those thoughts and feelings would linger as warmth and ache in their hearts. Chapter 20. I'm sorry. Yugo and Kimimaro lay not far from each other on the Kage balcony, varying degrees of wounded. Both were unnaturally tough and blessed with outstanding vitality thanks to their particular Kekai Genkai. Still, one was burned nearly to a crisp and the other was cut open. Neither could make it out in their current states. "I never thought I'd see the both of you lose." An umbu-masked man in a cloak walked out from the shadow of a pillar. "Yugo, maybe, but not you, Kimimaro. My opponent was a bandaged man concealing a Sharingan in his right eye." He walked over and outstretched his hands, channeling his chakra into the silver-haired boy's wounds. "Danzo Shimura, the shinobi of darkness. I'm surprised he's still capable enough to beat you. I have no excuses, I was careless, distracted, and foolish." Kimimaro turned to his shivering friend. "Help Yugo instead." He rose, interrupting the healing jutsu. You shouldn't even be here in your condition, and Yugo can heal himself. I insist. He shook his head. There's just no helping you. He walked to the test subject and began healing him. If you try to absorb me, I'll have to hurt you. No more, please. Kimimaro walked over and put a supporting hand on his mending flesh. I'm sorry, I failed you. It's okay. Yugo groaned. I'm glad you're still alive. He won't be for long without treatment, the Fakumbu said. Kimimaro. The young man inclined his head toward their would-be savior. You may treat me, but focus on Yugo when I am stable. I know 2 other idiots you'll both get along swimmingly with. He focused back on healing the curse-marked boy. Lucky for you, Lord Orochimaru is interested in acquiring them both. Seems all 3 of us have failed our lord. We can repay him by capturing them. First, the 2 of you get healed. Danzo is likely finding out a way to dispel the barrier as we speak, so we should take care of him next. Yugo shivered. Anko is with him, then the barrier is already down. Those 4 won't last long, or be of much help to Lord Orochimaru. The Umbu switched back to the other. Don't you heal faster than this? I can feel the burn in my organs. My nerves are still shot too. So this is the power of the curse seal of heaven. I distracted him with my failure. Kimimaro glanced at their surroundings, watching for any leaf ninja. The false Umbu hummed. The second stage drains the user of a curse seal regardless of the energy spent, right? Did you manage to wound Danzo? Yes and yes, I shot him with my finger bones, but they didn't go through. Then we'll have a chance if no one else interferes. He smirked beneath his mask as his patient's condition returned to a passable combat one. Let's go. While 2 of them ran up the supporting pillars to the roof, the other just extended jets from his back to propel himself up. They saw Danzo standing by Anko cradling the 3rd Hokage's body and knew they weren't needed, so they jumped back down. It was a relief to know they wouldn't have to face 2 of the Leaf's best after being thrashed by them. We'll meet with the Sound 4 and Lord Orochimaru at the rendezvous point. He's likely too injured from the fight if he retreated directly afterward. Kimimaro looked down in shame. I must offer him my deepest apologies for my failure and greatest congratulations for his victory. He's likely going to be too happy about his victory to care. The false Umbu laughed. Still, we don't know exactly what happened. Yugo looked over the arena wall. We should get going. What about the 2 vessels? Kimimaro asked. The false Umbu shook his head. One of them just defeated a tailed beast, and the other is effectively a jonin in mint condition. Trying to get them now will attract attention, so it's beyond the 3 of us right now. He turned to the direction of the exit. I'll see you and Lord Orochimaru soon. While the spy ran off, Yugo sprouted his jets and grabbed Kimimaro before blasting away. Most ninja were too distracted with their fights to notice. Those that did wondered if they were seeing things. Not one of them was prepared to witness how bad the truth was. It was too awful for there to be blame, as their master needed them then more than ever. Hayashi Hyuga was a peace-loving man who cared deeply for his daughters. He was also the head of one of the biggest clans in the entire world that specialized in a taijutsu style that complemented their Kekai Genkai perfectly. The Second Shinobi World War left scars on his young mind, and the Third Shinobi World War cemented his disgust of it with how many children he saw die in battle. While he murdered the man that attempted to turn his daughter into cattle with righteous fury, he would rather die than let her or anyone else experience that hell on his behalf. Those that thought him weak or unwilling to do what was necessary, however, were currently dying at his feet or thanks to the young adults under his command. I appreciate the assist, Asuma said, wading through another series of enemies and casually leaning away from shuriken. But I'm pretty sure we have it covered. Shikamaru rolled his eyes as he threw a shuriken at the throat of one of the enemy ninja. Ino tweaked the nervous systems of. Told you. Now is not the time to refuse help. Niji jumped over a kunai and kicked the man responsible square in the face. Yeah, Asuma-sensei. Choji grabbed another enemy ninja and threw him over the railing, a tactic he increasingly employed over taking the time to crush or punch. Who else is going to buy us barbecue? Kurenai rushed from odd-acting enemy to enemy and cut their throats. They have a point. We're almost clear. Asuma, decapitating 3 men with one swing of his chakra blades, protested. Hayashi darted through the balcony. Of all times. His fingers shot chakra from one hostile's heart to another. Now is not one. The last of the attacking ninja were thrown out, heart poked, cut in 2, and throat crushed. Status report. Still close to running out of chakra, Shikamura said. Ino jumped. Ready to beat back more of these losers. Getting really hungry. Choji didn't bother dodging his teammate's slap. I am fine, Lord Hayashi. Niji tried not to look at the reddening bandages on his wrist where Naruto's kunai tore into. Let's keep going. The Hyuga head glanced at his reopening wound. Your tenacity is admirable, but you have a limited supply of blood. He froze at the sight on the Kage balcony no longer blocked by a barrier. Lord Hayashi? Niji activated his own Byakugan and widened his eyes. Asuma glanced from Hyuga to Hyuga. What happened? Hayashi looked down. We must keep going. He lifted his gaze to meet the fallen sun. All of us. He focused on his nephew. Stay close but do not fight unless you must. Asuma and Kurenai lead the forefront of their growing group alongside Hayashi. The latest generation of Ino Shikacho moved in an arrow-like formation behind, Choji leading while the other two flanked. Niji lagged at the far back and got glances from the three for the solemn expression on his face. It was the wisest arrangement for an onward assault. The balcony they moved on to was anything but enemy-ridden. Sand and sound lay dead or dying from broken bones, cut throats, ruptured organs, and deep stab wounds. A Chunin duo covered in blood supported one another while standing themselves by their weapons. Two identical Inuzukas rested side by side with their backs against the wall, similarly drenched. The eldest of Hayashi's daughter propped herself up by an audience seat, coughing blood from reopening her wounds. Holy shit! Ino's eyes widened at the carnage. Kotetsu! Izumo! Asuma looked at their red-covered weapons. What the fuck? The nose-bandaged one groaned. That whiskered brat, bead-a-tailed beast, the bandana-clad one finished. Shikamura twitched at the smile on the face of a lesser academy troublemaker. Overkill much? He shook his head as the Kibis gave him a thumbs up. Troublesome. Lady Hinata. Niji brushed past Team 10 to his cousin and activated his Byakugan. He saw her the previous time and witnessed her fighting after Shikaku was defeated but didn't see the wounds he gave her open. She giggled at the worried look on his face. It seems like Naruto changed you too. You've become strong. Hayashi walked over and patted his daughter's head. Hanabi tries to hide it but she misses you. If you wish to return to the compound, you are free to do so. Blushing, she turned to her worried sensei, the woman who'd been taking care of her since she was disinherited. Thank you, father. I nay. She coughed more blood and swayed into her guardian's arms. Someone needs to watch the wounded. Kurenai held her close. Ino let tears leave her eyes. Hold on, Hinata. Naruto isn't going to be able to resist you once he hears about this. What? Hayashi asked, eyebrow raising at his daughter's reddening face. That girl is crushing on him, Izumo said. Kotetsu nodded. Hard. If he killed me that fight, I'm not sure she'd care all that much. Kiba laughed alongside his transformed dog. Shikamura shook his head. I knew there was something going on with the way she looked at him back at the academy, but I didn't think it'd be that troublesome. Hayashi glanced at Asuma's hand patting him on the shoulder, while Hinata buried herself in her sensei's chest in a futile attempt to hide. The heart wants what it wants. He shrugged off the man's hand. Yours has good judgment, seeing greatness where everyone saw nothing. Focusing on the other balconies, he brought his mind back to the most immediate matter. It seems Kakashi and Guy are finishing up. The balcony where most shinobi sat is clear. We'll be moving out to secure the village soon. And where the Kage sat? Niji swallowed the lump in his throat. Asuma laughed. The old man can handle himself. Let's keep going, kids and Hayashi. Right. The Hyuga head started walking with the Sarutobi and his team in tow. Keep safe and watch yourself, nephew. Kurenai may lack the same patience I have. Niji nodded while his cousin sensei made a confused face at the remark. I understand, Lord Hayashi. Most of the fit left them there, tired and wounded, with some support. Too many of the enemy's number had fallen. Some civilians were killed in the crossfire between forces, but those losses were insignificant in the grand scheme of the conflict. While some of their shinobi died, it was nowhere near as much. The effort to stall their most experienced shinobi had the consequence of costing them a significant amount of their fighting force. A counterattack led by their elite was inevitable and likely to be devastating. We're missing all the fighting. An all too familiar voice emerging from the previous balcony's hall said. Sasuke Uchiha sighed as he helped its owner into theirs. Tell me about it. One or both of you could die. Sakura scolded from behind. Listen to Vomit Girl. Hanabi patted her head to soothe its ache. She is wise. Please don't call me that. Vomit Girl. Niji smiled. Lady Hanabi, that is no way for a young lady of your stature to behave. The man of the hour and his teammates. Kurenai said, smiling as well. Hinata separated from her sensei. And Naruto? She locked eyes with the grinning boy. More blood filling her lungs made her cough it out. Easy. She held her student close. Hayashi advanced, I assume? Shino scanned the area. Not an ideal place to rest. Kiba laughed as his twin turned back into Akamaru. Got a better one? What happened to you? Sakura asked. Take a guess. Kotetsu groaned. Swept up in the moment. Couldn't let some genin show us up. Izumo said. Talk about embarrassing. I don't see a tailed beast here, so I still win out. Naruto grinned, even as Sakura clenched his shoulder threateningly. Taking his dog into his arms, Kiba scratched him between the ears. Hey Q. Same. The duo said in unison. Hinata wanted to declare her love for him but didn't want her wounds ruining the moment. Naruto. She peeked out from Kurenai's side, smiling at him. He locked eyes with her. The warmth he felt back at the practice field swept over and made his heart beat faster. Hey, you doing all right? Why yes. She coughed blood again. Hanabi dropped from Sakura's back before running to her kin's side. Elder sister. She hugged her tightly. Kiba shook his head. She fought so hard her wounds reopened, but we got every last one of these bastards. If this is where we're keeping our wounded and defenseless, I'll leave Naruto with you. Sasuke eased his shoulder out from his comrade, laying him against the wall instead. Will you be alright, Kurenai? Sakura asked. There could be stragglers. Naruto laughed. I'm staying here, aren't I? She'll be fine. The jonin in question shot him a look. You should rest. Focusing on his teammate, she nodded. The battle isn't over yet. Catch up with Hayashi and Asuma. They're going to need soldiers to check on the rest of the village. She turned to her last standing squad member. Go with them, Shino. Shino nodded and sprinted down the hall with the rest of Team 7. Yes, Kurenai-sensei. Anyone know where the old man is? Naruto asked. He scoffed at the looks he got. Old man Hokage, who else? Niji, averting his gaze, shook his head. Lord Third can take care of himself. No shit, I want to brag about something to his face. Is now really the time? Kiba asked, squinting at him. The village is under attack. Kurenai deadpanned. Lord Third has lives to save and people to lead. Hanabi nodded. Lord Hokage likely already saw you blow up the mean Tanuki. Wasn't he in that purple thing on the roof? Naruto started limping towards the hall. Dude. Kiba scoffed. Now is not the time to be a dumbass. Niji leaped over to block his path. I can't let you pass in your current state. Naruto glared at him for a second until he noticed the sadness in his eyes. What happened? Nothing happened. Then get out of my way. Naruto. Hinata called out. He glanced at her, balled his hands into fists, and sighed. Okay. He put his back against the wall before falling limp. Kotetsu laughed. You two are fucking adorable. Just precious. Izumo added on. Hanabi held her wilting sister's hand. He's amazing. She froze at her questioning, twitching gaze. Elder sister? Kurenai shared a look with Niji. She noticed a dimness in his eyes she didn't before. When he broke off eye contact, she saw his hands trying to move his fingers. It was clear something really bad happened. If it was what her mind jumped to, she sincerely hoped she was wrong. Why do I get the feeling today is only going to get so much worse? Kiba asked no one. Don't be a pessimist. Kotetsu pointed his thumb at his partner. This guy is already enough of a downer. Izumo scoffed. It's not my fault you're too stupid to see how things typically fall into place. Naruto squinted at them. You're both dumbass. Now you sound like Enko. Where is she? He moved in a hurry to stand up and only fell back down. He groaned as they shrugged in unison. Enko-sensei, you and the old man are going to be so proud of me. Smiling, he stared up at the ceiling. We'll go to Ichiraku's and have some bowls. Sasuke, Sakura, Kakashi, and maybe even Iruka will tag along. Sure, they don't have the space, but some of you can sit on the ground. It'll be awesome. Kiba laughed. You sound so not like you right now. Fuck you, man. Naruto grinned. I want to be happy, and I'm going to be. The Hyuga sisters stayed close to Kurenai, being too precious to one another and her to lose. While the gate guard / proctor duo steadily got their bearings, they traded remarks with each other. Niji kept an eye on the hallway entrances and railing for any straggling enemies. Naruto, daydreaming, rested against the wall. Kiba pet his dog, occasionally sniffed for hostiles, and tried to regain some stamina. It was yet another oddly peaceful scene in what was a battlefield. When Hayashi's group reached Kakashi and Guy's balcony, the Hyuga head shook his as they noticed him. The blood they shed was enough to flow down the steps, even oozing down the arena wall. Enough stuck around to dye the bottom of their sandals red. Both of the overachievers were drenched in it. His daughter and her teammate did a good job alongside the two Chunin, but they were nothing compared to two of the village's most powerful Jonin. I can't fault you for wanting to exterminate the enemy, but we could have used you to save the rest of the village. Guy wiped blood from his face and made a fist with the same hand. I can keep going. He glanced at his eternal rival. Can you, Kakashi? Please. Hatake scoffed. I haven't even used a single jutsu yet. Tenten, covered in blood from their exploits, cowered behind the cover of her seat while an equally bloody Lee stared in admiration. Make them stop. Kids, Asuma said, turning to face his gaping charges. I know I said I'd train you up to beat Team 7, but I'm not sure if I can hold true to those words anymore. Naruto beat a tailed beast, we already know. Shikamaru deadpanned. Ino slapped him. Not with that attitude. She pumped her fists. We're going to get even stronger. For barbecue. Choji cheered. Asuma chuckled and looked back to the two Jonin. I'm not going to get outdone by you, much less a genin. Troublesome. Shikamaru shook his head. I don't see any of us beating a tailed beast anytime soon. Not with that attitude. What's the situation, Hayashi? Kakashi asked. The Hyuga head activated his Byakugan. The balconies are clear, the rest of the village is under attack. Jonin that stayed out of the arena are mobilizing, and we have taken little losses in comparison to our enemy here. He looked down. There have been some complications, however. What kind? He pointed to the balcony where his daughters were. We have wounded. I know you two wish to continue battle, but they need watching. I will lead the counterattack using our remaining forces here with Asuma. Sasuke, Sakura, and Shino entered the balcony and stared at the bloody Jonin. Kakashi raised a hand in greeting. You guys missed the fun. He lowered it along with his forehead protector, concealing his eye. Where's Naruto? With the wounded. Hayashi answered. He'll need you. I'll take your genin and the aburame with me. I'll have to keep the Uchiha. Orochimaru is set on taking his eyes. The Hyuga shook his head as the uninformed shot the Jonin confused looks. Orochimaru has fled this battle and is likely incapable of doing so, ever. Kakashi smiled as he began walking to the hall, Guy and his genin in tow. I knew Lord Hokage still had it in him. The eye opened when the man set his hand on his shoulder. Lord Third is dead. He whispered loud enough only for him to hear. Oh. Kakashi kept walking and waved off his unaware squad. Go with Hayashi. Listen to everything he tells you to do. He's a survivor of 2 shinobi world wars, and the rest of us Jonin only have one under our belts. Guy looked to his only female student. You can go along, if you wish, Tenten. She shook her head, shaking all the while. I don't think I can after seeing all of that. She took a deep breath. War is different from missions. Let's keep going. Hayashi, leading onward, said. The battle is not over yet. Half of Team 7, all of Team 10, and a fourth of Team 8 went with the clan head to group up with the surviving shinobi in the arena. It was going to be their first taste of taking part in a legitimate military operation. Some were excited, some didn't really care, and some felt fear. They already dealt with the brunt of the attack, but those feelings would linger. Those that remained would have to face something even worse. Kakashi, Guy, Tenten, and Lee went from the noble balcony and past the Kage balcony to the civilian one their wounded were resting in. Tenten immediately rushed over to hug her other teammate, to his surprise. To his discomfort, Guy jumped over with Lee in his arms to do the same, pulling them all into one big literally bloody group hug. Kiba raised an eyebrow at the exchange. Shouldn't we be ready for any enemies? The arena is clear, Kakashi said. There might be a few stragglers, but it should be safe. Are you two going to watch them? Kurenai asked. He shrugged while Guy, still choking the life out of his genin, nodded. May as well. You can go back up Haishi and Asuma, if you want. I think I'll stay. She looked down at her ward's weary face. Well, Naruto said, standing up from the wall, if the coast is clear, I'm going to go pay the old man a visit. Niji's eyes widened. It's okay. Kakashi interjected. His uncharacteristically serious tone made everyone focus on him. I'll make sure he's safe. Smiling, he walked to his injured student. Naruto glanced from his old enemy to his team leader. What's going on? Nothing. I'd pick you up, but I'd get blood all over your fancy new clothes. His eye opened to narrow at his fishnets. What? He started walking. You didn't wear those before. And what's wrong with them? Naruto shot him a look as he followed. Are you jealous of Anko-sensei? Anko what now? Anko-sensei. Kakashi twitched. I'm going to pretend like I didn't hear that. You already did before. Smartass, he laughed, trying hard to choke down the rising sadness in his chest. I knew you'd get along too well with her. We didn't fuck, but I really wish we did. She thinks it'd be a bad thing. Kakashi glanced at him. It would have been. Oh please. I'd beat a tailed beast. Don't I get some kind of pass after doing that? I'm proud of you, but please don't misunderstand. There's being capable of doing something and the question if you should. I made the same mistake when I was your age, and I haven't had a single healthy relationship with a woman since. He patted the top of his blonde head. Anko doesn't want to take advantage of you or ruin your chances of understanding what that's like. Naruto squinted at him. You don't have a healthy relationship with a woman because you read so much porn. Yes. They walked up the supporting pillars to the roof of the Kage balcony. When Naruto's sandals touched the melted and scorched tiles, he rushed toward the figures in the middle of the balcony top with a smile on his face. Old man? Anko, hair still undone and cheeks dried of tears, looked up from the fallen mentor in her arms to her approaching charge. Naruto. She glanced at his dour sensei, who only forced his eyes shut in response. He slowed nearly to a halt at the sight of Sarutobi's still body. Old man? His heart felt as though it fell down a pit. With every step he took forward, the feeling only worsened. Why are you passed out? A laugh he forced only caused him more pain. Come on. You're the god of shinobi. The professor, right? Naruto. Anko called out again, tears re-emerging from her eyes. Quit it. He fell to his knees when he reached them and held a hand over the third's heart. He's... Joining them both, he formed the tiger seal to disrupt his own chakra. Danzo looked down at his fallen rival. This is not a genjutsu. This isn't possible. We were too late. Anko sobbed. No, I mean this is fucking impossible. Naruto rose and shook his head. The old man is the strongest person ever. He could have beat the one-tailed runt easier than I did. Wasn't he even stronger than the second when he was a kid? His vision blurred as he stepped back. I don't understand. He could not kill his own heart, so he could not kill his old student, Danzo said. Orochimaru? His hands balled into fists. He let himself die for that piece of shit. Tears streamed down his cheeks. He fed me to a fucking snake, and the old man would rather die than kill him? His features took on the influence of the nine tails. The air grew far heavier than it was when the one tail fully manifested. Naruto! Kakashi called out, a widening at the red bubbling chakra cloak. Shut up! 3 chakra tails swung behind him. All of you shut up! Anko shut her eyes. I'm sorry, it's my fault. That stupid piece of shit. Worthless old man. Even in the end, he still put someone else over me. What are you talking about? Kakashi jumped away as the tails grew to slap at him. Quit playing stupid! Naruto glared at the jonin with crying, slit red eyes. I was always an afterthought. Always only worth caring about so long as it mattered to someone else. His voice broke. I beat a tailed beast. I spared Niji. His face contorted in sadness. And it still wasn't enough. He loved you. His skin began peeling off, letting blood mix with the cloak. Shut up. Just shut up. He clutched his head and collapsed. He's losing control. Danzo stepped forward for Kakashi to appear in his way. Stand aside. I won't let you hurt him. That's not my intention. He reached to reveal his eye until the air turned outright toxic. All three jumped away before the rooftop exploded in a column of blood red that went up so far it could be seen from any point of the village. When they landed, all stared in horror at what rested in the crater. The seal opened back in the land of waves. Orochimaru's tampering did untold amounts of damage they were finally seeing for themselves. 6 blood-red tails lashed out in fury. An odd collection of bones extended around a form composed of chakra and blood rather than flesh. 2 white holes were its eyes and jagged lines were its mouth. Fox-like ear appendages flopped about its head. From its crushing pressure alone, one could tell the fully formed one tail would be nothing more than an extreme-sized chew toy for the transformed Naruto. He raised his manifestation of a head and let loose an inhuman shriek of pained rage that shook the entire arena. Kakashi's eye widened. Oh no! I have no choice. Danzo ripped off the bandages and let his Sharingan shift into a pinwheel. Koto Amatsukami. He froze as the fox thing turned to him. Orbs of blue and red emerged from its form. Opening its mouth, it pointed all of its tails at the opening. The balls of chakra gathered into a dense purple. It condensed into a small golf ball-like sphere the fox thing ate and swallowed. Danzo and Kakashi wisely jumped off before it spit a destructive blast that blew off the top of the balcony and extended far into the sky. They attached themselves to the arena wall with chakra but almost fell from the sheer pressure they felt from it. While they were alive to feel the presence of the Nine Tails, they did not do battle with it. Its hatred was something they could feel in their very beings. Anko held Sarutobi's body close. She was shaking in fear and sadness. There was nothing she could do to help either of the men she wanted to save. Begging would likely get her killed, but she didn't care about herself anymore. It was a small chance, yet still a chance. Naruto! She cried, pleading for the boy who sought inner peace. The fox thing looked in her direction, growled, bent its limbs, and pounced. Guy appeared in blazing green, forced it back with a brutal kick to the face. Gate of Wonder! Knock him down into the arena! Kakashi yelled as he lifted his forehead protector. We need to contain him! He looked to the woman cradling their fallen Hokage. Anko! Please, we need your help! I have no idea what you are, Guy said, tilting his head at the unfamiliar being. But I would know that feeling anywhere. He jumped over several swiping tails and swung his entire body into a kick that demolished everything behind it while launching the creature into the arena floor. The 4 Kage-level ninja jumped down. To those looking on from the arena balconies, it was something out of a fable. Each looked unique and powerful. Their foe was a living nightmare none would ever forget. It was questionable if they would be enough, though. Anko! Mud wall! Kakashi went through less hand seals than she did, but they surrounded the fox thing with 2 massive walls of earth regardless. Danzo nodded in approval as he went through hand seals of his own. Earth flows spears! The space between the walls became littered with spikes, trapping it in them. Now what? Guy asked. I don't. What hatred they felt was now something they could taste. Their eyes watched in horror at 8 massive blood-red tails emerge from their trap and collapse the arena wall behind it. A skinless fox head shot forth to bite at them, growling as they jumped back into safety. It raised its head and screamed loud enough for everyone in the village to hear. The seal was broken. Chapter 21. I just wanted you to love me. It was 7 years ago. Naruto foolishly spent all his money on sweets, and had none left for ramen. He remembered looking out at the blue sky on the sculpted head of the 4th Hokage at Hokage Rock. While having no knowledge of fishing or hunting, he managed to get some trout from a river that flowed in the forest above the faces. The sun was setting as he cooked them. He bit into the cooked fish and noticed Sarutobi staring right at him, inches away from his face. Ole men? Don't talk while you're eating. He tore a piece free and began chewing. Old man Hokage. Swallowing, he squinted at him. What are you doing here? That's a question I should be asking. He froze as his stomach growled. You wouldn't happen to be charitable enough to feed an old man, would you? Laughing, Naruto handed him one of the makeshift skewers. Here. How kind of you. Sarutobi sat by his side and ate the fish with him as the stars came out. Just look at the sky. The boy stared up at the glittering lights. There's always so many. He nodded. This world is boundless. Compared to it, we are but motes of dust, but that's not a bad thing. Smiling, he patted the confused child on the head. When you are regarded or regard yourself as a big thing, you can lose sight on what's really important. You focus so much on yourself when no one in this world lives forever. Then what does? Ideas, stories, and families. Time passes all of us by, but what matters is what we leave behind. This village was entrusted to me by my mentor, who was entrusted with it by his brother. They both died, still, they passed on their will, the will of fire, to me and everyone else living here. It's their love, my love, our ideas, stories, and our families. Naruto hummed. Old man Hokage. He drifted off and looked down. I don't have any ideas, stories, or a family. I don't know what love is. You will have your own in time and know, but you already have someone else's. Whose? He tilted his head at tears emerging from the old man's eyes. Sarutobi lay his hands on the boy's shoulders. Your parents, you are their idea, story, family, and their love. Who are they? Words could not describe the feelings in their hearts on that day. Neither ever forgot nor ever would. It was beautiful, sad, and miserable. That single question defined their entire relationship and haunted them both throughout it. The inside of Naruto's subconscious mind was quiet, save for a single noise. It was a combination of metal striking a solid object and splashing water. Anger, sadness, and despair in one. That was what Naruto slamming his protected forehead against the ground was. Pointless! 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 He screamed. It was all fucking pointless. I should have known better. He never answered that one fucking question. What the hell was I thinking? He grit his teeth. He chose him. He chose them. He chose everyone else but me. The nine-tailed fox looked down on its jailer with conflicted eyes. It was getting everything it ever wanted. This was the breakdown it was working him towards. The answer to that question it was saving for a special moment, but it turned out to be unnecessary. The seal was about to bust wide open. Tears fell from his eyes into the water. He died for him. His voice broke. He actually died for him. He fed me to a snake, did all kinds of shit, toyed with Enko-sensei, and tried killing him, but he still fucking died for him. He sobbed. What did I do wrong? Was I really that bad? He forced his eyes shut. I just wanted you to love me. Its victory felt hollow. After everything, the boy was breaking because of something unrelated to it. All of its efforts were for nothing. It had been free if it just waited and relaxed from its perspective. I hate you, you stupid old man. You pathetic old piece of shit. God of Shinobi, and you die alone at the hands of your own fucking student. What a joke. You deserved it. He stopped and hugged himself. But if that's how I feel, what is this pain in my chest? Why do I want you to hold me so much? You were the only one I ever used to look up to. He laughed. Do I love you or do I hate you? It saw him go from a crying brat to a shinobi that could face down the runt of its litter. He handled Shikaku with grace and style, just as it would have. His words about foregoing anger reminded him of the old sage. For a moment, it felt pride in him. He wailed. I don't know. Sobbing, he clutched his head and shook. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know anything anymore. His eyes widened in realization. Oh shit. I'm totally freaking out right now. He laughed. I'm fucking everything up, aren't I? Could have gotten respect, made Chunin, and got to see the look on all those fuckers' faces. He burst into laughter. But I just couldn't take not having one thing. His laughter devolved into crying again. You being there to tell me how proud you are. The feelings of humans weren't something it understood. They were the exact opposite of them in every way. It's not like they didn't share them, but their meaning was different. It was immortal while the boy was destined to die one day. Almost everything passed. Those eyes. He wrapped his arms around himself and shivered. Oh fuck. They're going to hate me. Tuchi, I am, Iruka-sensei, Sasuke, Sakura, Kakashi, Enko-sensei, Hinata, Jiraiya, and Hana are going to hate me. He shut his eyes. I fucked that all up. Damn it. He began hitting himself. Stupid. Fucking. Idiot. What were you thinking? They'll never let you do anything after this. No one could ever love you. Did you really think anything would change? Things did change. In ways it had never imagined, it saw him do the impossible and become the complete opposite of what he once was. His will overwhelmed its That was something it would never forget, it was something it respected. He stopped beating himself pointlessly. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. He collapsed into the water. Someone, help me. Naruto. He lifted his head and laughed. That's the first time you've ever called me by my name. It tilted its head. Rip the seal off, and I will save you from your suffering. No more doubt, no more anger, no more sadness, and no more pain. What will you do? I will destroy everything. Everyone who ever slighted you. Everyone who could ever hate you. I will keep your soul safe and sound. I don't want them to hate me. He looked down. But they will either way. I will kill them before they can, so they will rest forever with their memory of you as you were. Its red eyes glowed. That's fine with me, I guess. His body rose to its knees and a strange blackness leaked from his stomach. What is? Eyes turning red, he stood up and shambled over. There is no need to fight me anymore. The moment he reached the bottom of the cage, water swirled about his form to lift him to the seal. He felt relieved. It was all coming to an end. There was no need for him to be strong or fail ever again. His hand grasped the flimsy paper. Then a hand grabbed his wrist and threw him back into the water. You! He looked up to see the owner of his would-be savior's hand only to be pulled into a tight hug. Who? I've seen the lies weigh on you and hurt you for far too long. Tears fell from the stranger's blue eyes into the water of his subconscious mind. He looked down at the boy's face and saw his widen. Aye, you yellow dipshit! He gut-punched him and bounced stepped back. Naruto! The fourth Hokage called out, voice filled with warmth and sadness. How do you know my name? He glared at him. You took me from my parents, didn't you? The Hokage winced. Naruto, stop saying my name like you know me. Do you want to tell him or should I? The fourth Hokage snapped his fingers and they were in a white void with just the two of them. That was awfully civil of the Nine Tails. You decide everything for me and then you take over my own fucking mind. He bounced step forward with a punch only to be embraced again. Let go of me! He didn't flinch even as the boy jabbed at his sides. I can't, you have no idea how much this means to me. Who? He stopped. Who the hell are you? Naruto, I'm your father. He closed his eyes when the boy stiffened. He looked up at the face of the man and gradually put together the resemblance. No. He stepped back and out of his arms. That's not. Shaking his head, he grit his teeth. If that's true, why didn't? This is. He held up his head to start laughing, bitter and angrily. Of course. Of fucking course. Of all people, it would be you. His face contorted in hatred. Gaara's was piece of shit, so why would mine be any different? Naruto. Shut up. Tears streamed down his cheeks as he shifted into sadness. Of all people, why did it have to be you? Do you have any idea how many times I imagined what my dad and mom would be like? He sobbed. I just wanted someone to love me. To actually love me for being who I am instead of anything else. I do love you. The fourth let more of his own tears fall. Then why did you seal that bastard into me? Your mother was the previous Jinchuriki, and a man with a Sharingan broke her seal when it was weak, when she was giving birth to you. He froze. My mom was. He glared at him. You made me into the next even after everything she went through? The only beings in existence that can seal the Nine Tails are the Shinigami. I traded my soul because there was no one else that knew the jutsu to summon them present at the time, and it was going to kill you. Kushina, your mother, was dying after her seal broke, but I couldn't let her fight for eternity in the Shinigami's stomach. You left me alone. Naruto scoffed. You, Mom, and the old man. Your mother and I jumped in the way of its claw with our dying breaths to save you. During the Third Great Shinobi World War, I killed more shinobi than any other man in recorded history to the point the Hidden Stone had a flea-on-sight order for me. The shinobi world runs on grudges like that. If the Third got too close to you, they'd look into your existence, find out the truth, and seek vengeance. I don't care, you left me alone. The Fourth's face scrunched in agony. Don't you think I know that? I don't even know if the real me will remember this. Please, I want you to see past your own pain, like you did after you woke up from your coma. That was before I knew how fucking pointless it was. I did what was best for you and the village. The fucking village! He shivered in seething rage. Those pieces of shit look at me like I'm trash when I'm the reason why they're alive to even do that. He pointed an accusing finger at his father. You loved them more than me, just like the old man. You loved Mom more than me. You loved yourself more than me. He laughed. I'm going to kill them. All of those worthless villagers down to their fucking children. Naruto, you don't know what you're saying. After I'm done with them, I'm going to kill that piece of shit with the Sharingan. The fourth put a hand over his chest. Please, I'm begging you. Listen to me. I'm done listening to everyone else. I should have known. He shed the last of his tears. I'm the only one who really loves me, who will ever love me. I'm repairing the seal. The fourth walked over and held out his hand, stopping the inky blackness from his stomach from leaking anymore. Shinigami could make it, but he knew enough to manipulate their handiwork. Task done, he hugged his child one last time. The punches and headbutts he received were more than an acceptable price. You don't ever have to forgive me, and whatever you do from here on, know this, no matter what, I will always love you. Quit lying to me, you piece of shit. Naruto glared up into his old man's warm yet sad eyes. I'm going to kill all of them, do you understand me? They wanted to shame a monster, and a monster is what they'll get. Wipe that look off your fucking face. You stupid dipshit. They're all going to die because of you. Every one of them is going to die. Minato Namikaze only held his son closer, the image of the smiling babe he originally left behind in his chakra imprint's mind. It would come back to the real Minato, and he would be content with his parting words and the feeling of his son in his arms. Other than fixing the seal, the rest of the chakra went into making sure the damage the Nine-Tails chakra did wasn't fatal. No matter what, he couldn't let his precious child suffer anymore. Only those present could truly understand the meaning of whiplash. One moment, it seemed as if the Nine-Tails was going to emerge to finish the job it started 13 years ago. And it was gone the next, as though nothing, save the damage to the arena it caused, happened. No one would believe it if the damage was repaired as well. Kakashi and Anko rushed over to a massive crater left behind. In the center, they saw the still body of their co-taught genin. Both jumped down, picked him up, and immediately rushed to the hospital. Active war zone be damned. So help the enemy ninja that got in their way. The balcony of the wounded had every one of its population watching by the railing. What the fuck was that? Kiba asked. Naruto. Hinata whispered, Byakugan active and wide-eyed. Neji watched them move with his own Kekai Genkai. I can't believe it. Believe what? Kiba looked to all three of the Hyuga with the eyesight to see who the mysterious being really was. Come on, guys. Kurenai sighed. Naruto Uzumaki is the Jinchuriki of the nine-tailed fox. He's been carrying it in his being for as long as he's been alive. What you saw was him losing control of it, but he fought it back in the end. Holy shit. I saw nothing of the sort during our fight or when he took on the one tail. Neji shivered. Hanabi's eyes sparkled with greater admiration. That was all him. No wonder he kicked that sand thing's ass. Tenten scoffed. He's been facing down the biggest monster this world's ever seen his entire life. Lee pumped his good fist into the air. I knew you had it in you, Naruto. Heartfelt tears left his eyes. You were always strong in the greatest way that mattered. Anko believes in that kid for a reason, Izumo said. Kotetsu rolled his eyes. Other than them being alike? They're right. Kurenai looked from one of the duo to the other. You're both stupid. She walked away from the railing. Let's not gawk. Looking to her female trainee, she raised an eyebrow at her still shocked expression. Hinata? Kurenai-sensei, Lord Third. Tears left her blank eyes. She looked to Neji, who only averted his gaze in response. Not a word, understand? What happened? Kiba asked. Hanabi took to her sister's side. It's okay. She took her hand in hers. He's smiling. They crept back into the less open balcony. Much was uncertain about their future. A newfound respect was felt by them all for the unfortunate child. His true strength, the fortitude of his heart, appeared much stronger than any of them thought, and what it actually was. Had the fourth not thought to leave an imprint of himself, they would have all died. Everyone on the shinobi balcony witnessed the horrifying series of events. Hayashi was about to declare their deployment when they felt the infernal chakra of the Nine-Tails emerge. The sight of the fleshy manifestation brought back bad memories for almost all of the shinobi there. When it disappeared, the relief was as palpable as the creature's hatred. That was Naruto, right? Shino asked. Sakura wiped tears from her cheeks while Sasuke sighed in relief. Yeah. She shook her head. I hope he's okay. It's Naruto. He always makes it out alright. Her partner affirmed, patting her shoulder. Shikamaru clucked his tongue. 8 tails by my count. Troublesome. He's something else entirely. He glanced at his gaping team members. It's a long story. The 9-tailed fox and the 1-tailed tanuki are both assholes I never want to hear converse again. Wait, what? The 2 members of Team 7 said in unison. Long story. I'll tell you some other time if you're not troublesome. Sasuke squinted. So you'll never tell us. You catch on fast, Uchiha. That makes you troublesome. You think everything is troublesome. Sakura deadpanned. So I've been told. Enough gossiping. Hayashi stomped his foot. We have a village to secure, hostile ninja to kill, and lives to save. He looked to his captains, Rado, Ginma, and Asuma. Deploy! They took off with no further word, following Asuma's lead. Each commanded several squads of men. Hayashi in turn commanded them. The Byakugan gave him nearly full view of the village in its entirety, so he was best suited for it besides his year's worth of experience. He'd give them orders, and they'd follow them before regrouping for more. Other clan heads were already beating the enemy back. With his abilities, what was a sure victory became an absolute one. He'd gather on the balcony roof where Sarutobi rested with the other jonin and heads when it was done. 2 days passed until they held the funeral. Naruto was comatose and covered in burns, a slight improvement over the skin condition he was enduring the forest of death. For the first day, Team 7 and Anko spent nearly their entire time in his hospital room. Hayashi, Hinata, Hanabi, and Niji dropped by as a group to pay their respects, leaving a big jar of their secret ointment to assist in his healing. Shino stopped by alone. Guy and Lee went together to lighten their rivals' moods. Hana dragged Kiba along with her to check on her competition. Irika visited with Konohamaru but had to drag him out when he tried shaking his idol awake. Jiraiya checked his condition and the seals to leave looking as if he saw a ghost. Nearly every shinobi was present for the morning ritual in the appropriate clothes. It's okay, Konohamaru, Irika said, patting him on the shoulder. The boy shook his head. You don't understand. It's boss. The old man was the only one I ever saw him respect. He sobbed. He was like his dad. I know it doesn't seem like it, but he was the only person I ever saw him listen to. Sasuke and Sakura watched and overheard the little Sarutobi. When I lost everyone, I thought I was living in a nightmare afterward. He held her hand. My father and mother were cut down by my brother, and I didn't know what to do. I was angry, sad, and felt alone for the longest time. Going back to the compound reminded me of that. Turning to her, his vision blurred for a moment. That's what Naruto must have felt when he saw, and he lost it almost completely. I've never lost anyone before. Sakura averted her gaze for a moment. But when I think about that time in Wave where we thought you were dead, and I saw Naruto so helpless, covered in blood. And again when both of you could barely stand yet kept pushing yourselves. Tears left her eyes. I know you have to do what you have to, and it's not close to the same thing. I can't help the way I feel. I care a lot about you too. I care about you too, Sakura. So does Naruto. You're allowed to feel however you do, but there are things our feelings won't help with. Sometimes, feelings keep you from seeing the truth or seeking it. She nodded. I understand. I just need to get used to it, I guess. That took me time too. He looked up to the cloudy sky and thought of his brother. The truth. There would come a time, sooner rather than later, they'd meet again. Each had their questions and their answers. It was unlikely they'd satisfy each other at all. Kakashi was at the memorial stone. Jiraiya was behind one of the posts reminiscing about his past, just as he was. Yugao was approaching with flowers. Everyone lost the third Hokage, but his loss reminded them of many more. Fresh wounds too near old wounds tended to reopen them. They were not unique in having them, or being a victim of it. For hate, right? Better be quick, Lord Third's funeral has already begun. She walked up the monument and set the flowers down. Paying respects to Obito? Minato. His eyes stared deep into the stone. I've made so many mistakes, and now I'm making them with my student. I wonder what he'd think of me, losing them outside a time of war. He's okay, isn't he? He shrugged. For now, I suppose? He shut his eye. He was just 1 inch left over the edge. I don't know what to do. Yuga put a hand on his shoulder. Do what you can, be there for him. I know you'll do the right thing, Kakashi. You always have. With an affirmative pat, she left her old Umbu teammate. Jiraiya stroked his chin, mind drifting back to the previous day rather than his bell test ones. The seal was stronger than it was when he first checked up on it. That could only mean one of two things. His most successful student came back from the dead, or the Shinigami that created it stopped by to give it a tune-up. He summoned Geritara to check for certain no absolute madman broke into Mount Myaboku to retrieve the key and was told no one did. It was tempting to strengthen it when he saw the damage Orochimaru had done, but it seemed counterproductive to the seal's intent to blend the chakras. The child was strongly against using the power anyway and displayed a level of control that reminded him of what he heard perfect Jinchuriki were capable of. While he was a seal master by nearly every other village's criteria, he was a journeyman in comparison to Minato, who had the tutoring of an Uzumaki absolutely smitten with him. What we thinking about? Kakashi asked behind him, making him jump. The seal. He shook his head and scoffed. I'm getting careless in my old age. You looked scared. I was going to say something, but I didn't want to worry the kids. It's just impossible. That thing was handcrafted by a Shinigami. You need to be a sealing master or the Sage of Six Paths reborn to tamper with something like that. Kakashi I smiled. Then it looks like my student really is promising. Oh please. Jiraiya rolled his eyes. Sure, he took down a tailed beast, but when I was his age. He flinched. Are you sure his will wasn't a factor? He's forced away the power before. Maybe the seal responds to things like that. Your guess is as good as mine when it comes to the designs of a death god. There was no helping it. The few that could understand the inner working of seals to the extent of reading a Shinigami's design were gone from the world. It wasn't as if knowing would help the real issue anyway. Sealing jutsu were only good for storing things away. Enko only left Naruto's bedside when she needed to go to the bathroom. The medical staff brought food for her to eat, and so did the rest of Team 7 when they were present. She didn't have the heart to go to Sarutobi's funeral, or leave the boy alone. Together, they slept side by side for nearly an entire month, after years' worth of loneliness. He was now the most important man in her life. That Hyuga girl wasn't mad at me at all when she came by. She pursed her lips. I guess she realized you and I weren't like that. Humming, she tilted her head. Maybe when you're older, and she still hasn't said it. At that point, fair is fair. How long can you expect someone to stay a virgin for, much less a man? The pulse she felt in his wrist was her only answer. I know what it's like to love someone and to want them to love you back so much, even when you don't really think you do. You and I didn't grow up with that. We were alone right from the beginning. How could you know what love is without any family? Sure, some people make you feel warm, but it's not like they'd strive to do anything for you as much as they would for their parents or brothers or siblings. A slight chill grew in the wind. They don't realize what they have most of the time. I felt so jealous and angry when I saw them together. I acted out like a total bitch. Did that with everyone until I met Orochimaru. Her grip tightened on his hand for a moment. When they hold you even when you hit them, it's like they're taunting you by seeing what you are, a kid that just wants to be loved. He was everything to me after a few of those. She laughed. I even tried gouging out Kakashi's Sharingan when he showed interest in it. Grabbed his dick, felt like I was grabbing a kid's wrist. Tried asking him out after that, but it didn't go anywhere. I was the crazy guys didn't want to stick their dick in then. She blinked. I guess trying to gouge their dead friend's eye out for good girl points isn't a good sign either. Naruto's steadily rising and falling chest was an affirming sight. We have no idea what good relationships look like because we barely have any to start with. No boundaries, no norms, no role models, and chances are no friends. You weren't good enough for your parents, so why would anyone want you? She flinched. Sorry, that's my bullshit talking. I admire you for having the balls to do what took me forever, getting over yourself. You were trying so hard and doing so well. But you were doing it for someone else? She shrugged. I don't know. Old man Hokage was important to you too. Couldn't believe it either, but he took me back after everything I did. Maybe it was my fault. I made him think it was possible for Orochimaru to come back too. The boy's condition remained the same. She pressed her forehead protector against the bed. I don't know what I'm doing. I feel pathetic for clinging on to you and other people, but isn't not wanting to be alone normal? You're a kid, And I let you touch my tits out of some half-thought when that misled you into thinking you might have a chance. What the fuck is wrong with me? She clenched her eyes shut. Is that even my issues talking or a legitimate question at this point? What I did to you go? Oh fuck, he was just a kid, and I used to rip his eyes out for shits and giggles. Used that healing ability of his as an excuse for it. Her hand tightened on his wrist for a moment but stopped. Am I behaving well for a good reason or because that's just what the old man praised? You asked me if it was for the Hyuga boy's sake or yours when I asked if you were going to kill him. You were asking me if I really cared about you. His hospital bed absorbed her tears. Well, I do. I really do. This is the first time I've ever had anything like this with anyone instead of just being the hopelessly faithful apprentice. I really don't want to fuck this up with anything romantic or by making you think we're a thing. All of that flirty shit I do is just to make you want to stay. Kind of like why you poke at everyone, you want to see if they care about you or have any weaknesses. Her grip tightened only a little. So please wake up. I want to be the one who holds you in their arms and tells you it's okay. I want to share smiles and laughs with you, so you don't have to do them alone. I love you, Naruto, and I can't stand seeing you like this. It would take a little more time for him to wake. There was much left for his mind process and to come to terms with. When he woke up, many things would change. He learned the truth in the worst way possible. Few could help him now.